Good morning. Good morning, please. I would like us to arrange ourselves to sit very well. The sisters saying at the back, please sit. Are you part of the ushers? So if you are part of the ushers, stay in the row. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. We need to be organized. Now, who is happy to be here? How many of us can testify that yesterday was beautiful? Am I the only one that took something home? If you don't even enjoy the lecture, at least you enjoy the food, right? Okay, so that is just the tip of the iceberg. Today is going to be superb. So tell somebody beside you and tell them you are not ready for today. You are not ready for today. Or ask them, are you ready for today? All right. So like I did yesterday, I'm still going to call somebody to give us opening prayer. You don't know, it can be anybody. Who are those disturbing my class? Okay. The sister in that black scarf, please come forward and give us opening prayer. Thank you so much. She looks so beautiful. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you. We are waiting for you. Be snappy, please. Thank you. Is he shy? Are you? You can't be shy.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's all rise up for, sorry, I'm not staying behind this thing because I'm not too tall. So, and I want you guys to see me. Can we all rise up to take, to honor our dear country, to take the national anthem? Please, if you are for us, you can come inside now. We are started. So we'll take just the second stanza. We'll take just the second stanza and we will go ahead with our lecture for today. So 1, 2, 3. Oh God of creation, our noble God, guide our leaders right. Help our youth the truth to know. In love and honesty to grow and living just and true. Great love to attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Thank you so much. You can have your seat. So I'll go ahead to recognize the special people amidst us today, the dignitaries. First, I would recognize our mommy, the faculty advisor, the ACS mommy. A round of applause for Professor Ohohi Onoumi. Mommy, you can please come forward, ma. A round of applause. Can you do it? Hard energy. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'd like to recognize our keynote speaker for today and my lecturer, Professor O.S. Amda. You can come forward, sir. Thank you so much for gracing this event. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to recognize our mommy and my lecturer, Professor M.O. Bello. You can come forward, ma. Thank you so much. Ushers, please help me help her with her bag. Thank you so much for gracing this event. We do not take it for granted. Thank you so much, ma. Okay, so who is ready? It's a lot of lecture today, but it's going to be sweet, I promise. So we'll go for our online session, the second plenary session, talking about green chemistry challenges and opportunities. We learned about what green chemistry is yesterday. Today we are going to be talking about the challenges and the opportunities that are in green chemistry. And that will be taken by Mr. Timothy Tize Fidelis from Department of Chemistry, Howard University, Washington, USA. So if he's on now, we are ready to have him. A round of applause for him if he can hear us. So I would like to go ahead with his citation now. Okay. Timothy Tizi Fidelis received his bachelor's degree in industrial chemistry from the defunct Federal University of Technology, Yola, and now Medibo Adama University of Technology in Nigeria in 2014. In 2017, he secured a scholarship under the sponsorship of Chinese government under the Belt and Road Scholarship Scheme to pursue his master's degree at the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, UCAS, Institute of Chemistry, Chinese Academy of Sciences, ICCAS. His master's degree's dissertation focused on prediction of catalytic activities of bis pyridine metal complexes by machine learning. The methodology, machine learning, he implemented to achieve his master's degree research objective was reported for the first time in the key Laboratory of Engineering Plastics, ICCAS, and has attracted more than 20,000 RMB grants, 27700 US dollars to the research group. He has published more than 10 research articles and has more than 200 citations. He is currently a graduate student at Howard University, Washington, D.C., USA. His current research interests focus on the solvent-free synthesis of nanoparticles and their subsequent incorporation into metal organic framework, MOFS, to harvest heavy metal cation in water and sustainability focus. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Timothy Tizi Fidelis.
Hello? Sorry, let me sign up. It's echoing for me. Okay, I guess everyone can hear me now. So thank you for that kind introduction. And as the moderator have introduced me, my name is once again Timothy Tize Fidelis. And I want to first start by thanking my host for inviting me to give a talk in this conference, Avant Garde Conference 2023, Lautech Student Chapter. And the title of my presentation is Green Chemistry Challenges and Opportunities. My presentation will be given under this content. First, I will start by background, challenges of green chemistry, how to turn the challenges into opportunities, green synthesis, photocatalysis, green energy and solar energy utilization, and the future direction and conclusion. Firstly, green chemistry have started, with so many prominent scientists in the past, in the last 5 decades, with the work of Richard Castle, where she wrote in her book titled Silent Spring in 1962, where she emphasized on the effect of toxic chemicals on our local system, ecosystem. And in the 70s, President Richard also established the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, we solemnly to protect human health and environment. And the first decision that was taken in that establishment was the banning of DDT and other chemical pesticides. And also in the 80s, chemical industry, embarked on pollution cleanup and toxin. But the major paradigm shift began to occur among chemists in the 90s, where the pollution prevention and establishment of green chemistry became a legitimate field of science. And in the year 2000, Green Chemistry Institute became part of American Chemical Society, through which we are giving this presentation today. A professional body that oversees the affair of any chemical research field. And the Nobel Prize in the year 2000 was given to these 3 respected professors in recognition of their contribution to green chemistry, where their work on hydrogenation reaction as well as catalyzed oxidation reaction. And Shapeless happened to be among the last year Nobel laureate, where they work on click chemistry. So he has joined the rank of those that have won Nobel Prize twice, beside Maria Curie and Pierre Curie. And also, what is the direction of green chemistry today and going into the future? Although there has been a lot of advancement in green chemistry, but chemical business have not yet fully embraced this technology because of several challenges, because more than 98% of all organic chemicals are derived from petrochemical or petroleum. So that means we are left with a lot of challenge to overcome. So what are the challenges? Last year in SCS conference meeting, 5 challenges, which are tagged as grand challenges, were promulgated. And this was published in American Chemical Society journal series Environmental, to be specific, in gold. So they came up with 5 major challenges. 1, providing a sustainable supply of food, water, and energy. 2, how to reduce climate change and adapting to its impact. The impact is with us. How do we adapt to it? The 3rd one is designing a future without pollution and waste, creating efficient, healthy, and resilient cities, and fostering informed decision and action. Now, yesterday we have had, the definition of green chemistry, but in a more specific term, what is green chemistry? Just to elaborate and echo on what has been discussed yesterday. More specifically, green chemistry is the design of chemical products and processes that are more environmentally benign. Now, in order to do chemistry more sustainably, 12 principles have been developed by Paul Anates and Warner. And they came up with these 12 principles to guide us in doing this chemistry sustainably. Than spending billions of dollars cleaning the mess. Atom economy, where we look at the ratio of our target product to the starting materials, and also energy efficiency, using more environmentally, way and converting our solar energy to drive the reaction, and also catalysis. We are talking about catalysis. Catalysis is the backbone of everything if we really want to achieve a desired product with less toxic chemicals. So understanding the knowledge and concept of catalysis is of utmost importance. Sustainable chemistry. Yesterday, one of the speakers mentioned that when we hear about green chemistry, what comes to mind is seeing things green, visualizing things to, from the green spectrum. So I came up with this sustainable chemistry so that when you look at the green chemistry, you look at the tree and, begin to visualize it in such a way that the branch represents each of the 12 principles I have shown in the previous slide. And the leaf represent the inquiry and probe we make as we, practice this incredible field of science. What are the specific targets of green chemistry? The specific target, the key is atom economy. The primary target of green chemistry is zero emission. How possible is that? We can minimize the level of this occurrence of pollution, but we cannot eliminate it completely. And one process that has revolutionized the world is the Haber-Bosch process, where you see the nitrogen gas with hydrogen to give us ammonium. And if you look at what is in the starting product, starting material is present in our target product. So 100% atom economy, which implies all reactant atoms are present in our desired products. Again, like I emphasized, atom economy, prevention, energy efficiency, and catalysis are the four principles that we emphasize on. So basically, the atom economy tells us about the molecular weight. This is how we calculate molecular weight of our target product divided by the molecular weight of our starting materials. And the target is to achieve 100% atom economy. Let's look at some chemical reaction. For example, the traditional way of preparing ethylene oxide. If you look at our starting material, it is a vinyl, normal process of chlorination. So if you look at the molecular weight of each of these products, 28 for ethylene, chlorine gas 71, and calcium hydroxide 74. So this is our target. So when we look at the atom utilization, at the end we have 25% atom economy. That means 75% go to waste. In the production of this alone, we generate 75% waste and 25% product. That means we still have a long way to go in cleaning this mess. So we have to start thinking as, green chemists. And so many organic reaction, has provided a platform for us to look at some of these reactions and see how we can limit or reduce the generation of this toxic. One good example is glycerin rearrangement. So you see this allyl phenyl ether undergoes, rearrangement through glycerin rearrangement mechanism, and you left with allyl phenol. And also, we look at the atom utilization is 100% because what is in the starting material is what we get in our desired product. Same thing apply to additional reaction where we hydrogenate benzene because benzene is toxic. When it undergo hydrogenation, you get your cyclohexene in chair conformation orientation. And if you observe, the first Nobel laureate were given their work was recognized because of their contribution in this field of hydrogenation as well as catalytic oxidation reaction. The second green synthesis we have to look at is instead of starting with benzene, which is more toxic, remember the target is to limit the occurrence of this generation of toxic chemicals in the environment. So instead of starting with benzene, we can start with cyclohexene to get our straight chain hydrocarbon. And also green reactor like glucose is also an important way that we can. But the challenge is that how do we design this synthetic pathway? That is the challenge. Now, the question is, why do we even need this chemistry? We need it because our planet was created perfect, without any deform, without any defect. But as a result of industrialization, increase in civilization, and the quest to meet our needs, we destroy our planet with lot of environmental, activity as a result of industrialization, as well as anthropogenic activities, as you can see on these slides. Now, let's look at the first challenge. The first challenge is that looking at how these resources are developed globally, they are not uniformly distributed. So in the quest to satisfy our need, we are looking at how do we convert these resources that are not uniformly distributed globally into value-added chemicals, like adhesive that we use today, carpet, some of the cosmetic, fertilizer, paint, rubber, fabric, plastic, and medicine, so many things. How do we convert these resources, starting material, that vary across the globe, into our value-added chemicals? So the challenge is how to identify product to make, define product to make, identify raw material to be used, and the process that can be manufactured in a sustainable manner. That is the first challenge. The second challenge is the decision that we are going to take will have a significant impact in the long run. That is, the world population is expected to increase to 10.5 to 11 billion by 2050. And what that happened is that global GDP will increase in the next 50 years, production will also increase, energy demand will increase, water demand will increase, and the sad reality is that the greenhouse emission will increase, which is the major greenhouse gases. So what are the challenges? The challenge here is how to address the interaction of energy, water, environmental health, and food to meet our growing population. The third challenge is, as you can see on this is a plot that shows human development as a function of ecological footprint. We look at what our earth can produce at the moment. If you look at the green line, what the world can support as of 2008 was 2.1. That's the biocapacity that our planet can produce. And if you look at over the years, the footprint and biocapacity of countries can be calculated. So I have highlighted some countries here: Brazil, Sweden, and Canada in green. What it means is that they are doing less than what their biocapacity is producing, while the one in the black, the country in black, are the one doing, that's the opposite. So they are doing more than what their biocapacity can produce. And this shifts to 1.73%. That is what the biocapacity can produce at the moment. What will happen in the next 10 years? That means, are we approaching zero, or we're approaching less than 1? Something needs to be done. And the challenge is that we have to start thinking of how to flatten the curve. The curve for the global warming, the water, land pollution, forestry destruction, and loss of resources. Now, this is the world ecological footprint and biocapacity from 1961 to 2022. So if you look at the gray plot is the carbon footprint, the red is the ecological footprint, and the green is biocapacity. So when you look at the relation between these three plots, observe that what our planet can produce is drastically reducing. And the carbon footprint, of course, is on the increase due to increase in our own activity, which is shown in the red plot. So more need to be done. As we have seen in the previous slide, that the biocapacity reduced after 10 years from 2.1 to 1.73. So we have to start thinking of how to flatten the curve. But let's look at the challenges around us. The major challenges in Nigeria, especially in the coast, Niger Delta region, is the oil spillage. And according to UN, that it will cost Nigeria $1 billion to clean up the oil spill, and almost 30 years to achieve that. And the sad reality is that most of the major causes are, even the main major cause of this thing is unknown, which account for 31.85%. While the third party activity is 20.74%, and the mechanical failure account for 7.04%. So more needs to be done because the land is devastated in the Niger Delta region. Water cannot be used, and this problem will remain with us. So we have to start thinking as green chemists to resolve this problem. Another problem in our society is solid waste. We generate a lot of solid waste. Nigerian population by 2055 will increase to 233.5 million, and solid waste generation by then will be 72.4 million tons of waste will be generated per annum. And Nigeria alone accounts for 1/4 of the waste generated in Africa. So we don't want to become waste capital of Africa. This is a big challenge before us. Again, this is a map that I remember vividly I presented in 2018 in China about green chemistry and engineering. So this is a kind of prediction of the impact of climate from north to southern part of Nigeria. And what do you have to take from this map? If you look at through the Sahel region in the northeastern Nigeria, you see that there's problem of desert encroachment in the north. The rate of afforestation is not encouraged. So if everything remains the same, the land in the north is being, encroached on daily basis. And also when you look at from the south is suffering the problem of erosion. So that is to say in the next century or in the next 2 centuries, what will happen? We'll have no Nigeria? That's the question now, because this is a problem that we are facing from the north to the south as a result of this impact of climate change. Now we have to start thinking of how to flatten the curve. Look at, if we continue to do business as usual, that means our planet is at stake. So we have to start thinking of how to change the dimension, how to change the paradigm of doing the business in order to flatten this curve. Because if you look at this as sustainable business and the capacity of our planet is around this, so look at the business. So we are doing more than what our planet on a general scale. We are doing more than what our planet can offer. So, but the question is that according to Albert Einstein, we cannot solve our problem with the same thinking we used when we created them. Now, we have to start thinking of how to change our way of, and the one way is to start thinking green, acting green, and looking at the available resources that we have and how we can support our buyer capacity. So in view of this, the UN proposed sustainable development goal in the last 23 years. And not all the sustainable goals, I will say, fit into green chemistry, but if you look at the sixth, you look at the 13, 14, and 15, fit into what we are discussing. And to amplify this further, the last conference, was held on climate change was held in Paris, where the world leaders came together to come up with a policy on how to mitigate climate change. And it became a treaty in the year 2016, where 194, almost all countries accepted it to become a treaty. And because of what, when you look at the impact of climate change, it's something that affects all, it has no border, it affects all nations. So we have to start thinking of how to turn these challenges into opportunity. Are we doing something? Is something happening in the lab, in an industry? So if you look at, this is a plot from Web of Science database, which shows the number of papers published on sustainable development. If you look at the plot, we are doing, that shows that we are doing more practice and theory. We are not just making policy, but action is being taken. As you can see, the red plot shows that we are really, but we still have a long way to go. Now, how do we handle waste, converting it into opportunity? Do we handle waste in a linear economic pattern? or in a recycling economic pattern. Remember, waste is the key resources to circularity. So a circular economy is something that should be encouraged by all. That is what we make. We use them, and after using them, it fades away. We recycle, we use them. So this is one way. It will not solve the problem, but this is one way circular economy should be encouraged relative to linear recycling economy. People have started turning waste into opportunity, like the plastic house bottles, like in Nigeria, where the plastic that are being done in waterways and landfill. People started using how to make plastic houses. But this will not solve the problem, because if you destroy the house, the plastic will still remain in the environment. So though this is one way, instead of this plastic being empty in our waterways and they end up in the sea affecting aquatic life, yeah, one way is to start thinking of how to utilize them. And as we can see on this slide, people have started using plastic to build houses, but that will not solve the problem. So we have to start thinking at advanced level. And that leads to my second phase of presentation, which is photocatalysis. If you look at, as a result of industrialization, there is increase in the emission of the most common greenhouse gases, which is CO2, carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide. You look at the power plant factories generate this on daily basis. And how do we start thinking of how to harvest this CO2 and converting them into value-added chemicals? And one catalyst that can do it is photocatalyst. Photocatalyst like TiO2, cadmium sulfide, cadmium selenide. There are so many of them can use. And the application is in CO2 cleanup, CO2 reduction, and in water splitting. So scientists started thinking of how to mimic the natural way of photosynthesis to convert the CO2 into value-added chemicals. So when you look at this film, here you look at how our activities has, turned our planet to. So, and this is depleting on daily basis. We have to start thinking at advanced level as student of chemistry, as student of green chemistry conference. We have to start thinking of how to resolve and clean up this CO2. So one thing that you need to understand is the working principle of this photosynthesis. Remember, the nature provides the solution for us. So scientists have started thinking of how to mimic the natural photosynthetic way. And one thing is for us to understand, in order to implement photocatalytics more effectively, is the use of a Z-scheme. So if you look at the leaf, the Z-scheme functions in such a way that the leaf of the plant is used to harvest the sunlight energy, which converted into chemical energy. And the water that is involved in the process is oxidized, and electron is being released and stored in this phosphophate, which serve as an electron transfer intermediate or pathway. And the electron that is being lost by this P860 is being accepted by this P70 in the second photosynthesis system. So in the presence of light, again, this electron is now used to reduce this proton ion and store in form of NADPI. So now, having understood the natural working process of photosynthesis, scientists now develop a semiconductor. And usually how it works is that the semiconductor is designed in such a way that we have the region of high electron and the region of with no electrons. So now, this is how it happens. When you look at the semiconductor, we have the valence band, the electron are reaching the valence band, and in the presence of light, these electrons are excited, they acquire energy and move to higher energy level or the conduction band, and this electron that is released from the valence band into the conduction band is used for the CO2 reduction into other value-added chemical. While the hole, remember when it leaves the valence band, it creates a hole, and the water molecule get oxidized, release oxygen and hydrogen. So this can be used to decompose different pollutant through photocatalytic reaction pathway. Now, this is a work that has been published in Chemical Engineering Journal, LCV, last year, where they mimic, although so many work had been done, so this is one of the work that have been reported on photosynthesis by mimicking the natural way of photosynthesis and developing an artificial leaf. So if you look at in figure A, the A is the natural way where the chlorophyll, as we know, absorbs the sunlight. And this sunlight is used to convert the in which the oxygen, the water molecule is oxidized into oxygen, and it's later stored in form of the energy is stored, which is the chemical energy in form of electron and proton are stored in this ATP for the dark stage of photosynthesis to produce their energy. And oxygen is given off and water as byproduct. Very clean, very decent, without any significant toxic side effect. So in the second plot is electro-photocatalytic process where energy from the sun is converted into electrical energy, which help to drive the reduction of CO2 at the cathode and the oxidation of the water molecule at the anode. So enough photovoltage is produced to drive this reaction. While the third one is direct photocatalysis, where this photocatalyst is doped directly on the electrocatalyst in an aqueous solution, and the CO2 that's bubbles through water is reduced into like formic acid, methanol, and other value-added chemicals that are less toxic. So they did show the mechanism of how this CO2 is being reduced. The CO2 reduction reaction, which form the CO2 anionic radicals, and in the basic condition, they oxidize and you form your different hydrocarbon and especially formic acid. So the E shows how this works. If you look at, there are 5 stages. The first stage is light harvesting, which causes this charge carrier generation from the valence band into the conduction band. And the second stage is the charge separation. The charge separation, how this electron and hole are being separated to perform different functions. So the electron move in the conduction band, it reduces the CO2 that diffuse and absorb on the surface of this catalyst. And the hole that is left created in the valence band is used to oxidize the water molecule into hydrogen ions and oxygen. So this is understanding this working principle will help you to design an effective catalyst. So that is where and there is a big opportunity in this era. Most scientists have started embracing how to convert what we see as a problem into value-added chemical. And one effective way is the use of photocatalysts. And the second thing is water splitting. Water splitting is basically you are splitting water into hydrogen gas and oxygen. So, and this was first developed by Fujishima, who was the founder of this photocatalyst in 1972. So this is just a kind of a scheme of abstract that show, this photosynthesis of plant where CO2 is absorbed and then is reduced in the presence of electrons, and water molecule is oxidized, and this can be used as fuel. And this is just a kind of a graphical representation of a solar fuel that we should start thinking of how to mimic in the future. And the second thing I want to emphasize in the mechanism of water splitting. The mechanism of water splitting, as you can see on this plot, is that you remember in water splitting, we don't want recombination, because if there is a combination, this charge generated from the valence band to the conduction band, if they recombine, you get your water molecule back again. So if you look at in the overall water splitting reaction mechanism, you look at it here. So for the hydrogen evolution reaction, the hydrogen now is reduced in the presence of electron into hydrogen gas, and the oxygen evolution reaction is oxidized in the hole. So the role of this semiconductor or the photo that we use in photocatalysis is that the first one is photo excitation to induce the formation of electron hole pairs, while the second one is the migration of the localized charge carrier to the surface of this photocatalyst. And the third one is the active site where this oxidation reduction takes place within the semiconductor and on the surface of their photocatalyst. But using a single type semiconductor is not efficient because of the problem of recombination. So scientists have developed another way of enhancing the efficiency of this charge separation. If you look at very well, they combine two semiconductors. This is the one in blue is the first semiconductor, then the second one is the second. So if you look at, if electron excites in the presence of light to to conduction band, it leaves a hole, means a positive ion here, and the electron move here. So it is the electron that we use in the CO2 reduction. So to avoid, in the water split rather, so to avoid charge recombination, instead of this electron to fall back to this same semiconductor, it moves to the second conduction band of the second semiconductor to enhance this charge separation. So, and again, because of the energy level here, it fall back to this, then it also move. So this is how they form a hybrid of semiconductor material to enhance this water splitting and promote this charge separation. The next thing we are going to look at in line with our opportunity is lithium-ion battery technology. And these three great men were awarded Nobel Prize in recognition of their work in 2019. John Goodenough, Stanley Washington, and Akira Shushano were awarded, for their contribution to lithium-ion technology. And this is a very hot area that you should start thinking of how to explore. So if you are thinking of going into this area of lithium-ion battery, electrochemistry should be your something that you should develop interest in. And understanding the basic principle of oxidation reduction reaction is a key time for you to develop an effective battery. So we know that losing an electron in chemistry is oxidation, gaining electron is reduction. So this is basically what happened in redox reaction. And once you understand that concept, I think you will be a good candidate for this field of lithium-ion battery technology. So in their work, the improvement was that previously they used metallic sulfide at the cathode. So because of low power efficiency, and the scientists started thinking about how to improve this power efficiency of this lithium-ion battery. So, and they developed cobalt oxide to replace this metallic sulfide and petroleum coke to represent the existing anode before. So if you look at the components of a lithium battery, anode, cathode, electrolyte, and separator. These are the various components that you use in lithium-ion battery. So understanding their working principle and how they are connected and related is a key term for you to develop an effective battery. So if you look at here, this is basically the scheme that shows how this works. So in the lithium-ion battery, basically you have your lithium metal oxide, and during the charging process, the electron are being pumped from the cathode to the anode, and your lithium ions and electron are moved to the cathode. So this is during the charging process, and it forms your lithiated graphite, because the cathode is made of anode is made up of graphite, and the discharging is the reverse. So, and there are different manufacturing processes. You want it in a cylindrical form, in prisma, and each of these has its own advantages of this orientation. Basically, we use cylindrical in most of our computer games or toys and rest of them. While in prismatic shape, lithium battery, we use it basically in electric vehicle because its ability to store high power density and also purge, which is in form of a sheet. So each of these depend on area of application that you design this battery. And we have different solvent, especially in lithium-ion battery, which is more effective. It has high power density. And the common solvent that is used in lithium-ion battery is carbonate polymer, like ethylene carbonate, polypropylene carbonate, dimethyl carbonate, ethyl methyl carbonate, and diethyl carbonate are the basic, most common solvent that we use in lithium-ion batteries. And although this doesn't work at a very low temperature, there is a journal I saw where they address, but I haven't read it in detail. So understanding all these components of lithium-ion battery, anode, cathode, electrolyte, and a separator is a key to developing effective lithium battery. And also fuel cell, which is also part of water splitting. One advantage of fuel cell is that, because if you want to minimize the level of pollution occurrence, we have to start thinking of how to come with it. And one advantage of this fuel cell is that it generates electricity directly. There's no combustion. Only water and heat are the byproducts, and there's no emission in the process, and we have high energy efficiency, which is clean and reliable. And that is why in our quest to take human to space to explore other planets, scientists have started thinking about this issue of fuel cell, and that is why the quest now is to identify source of water in Mars. Once that has been identified, this same technology can be used to split this water into oxygen and hydrogen gas, which can be used to power our space vehicle to take us more further into the cosmos. And Toyota has been given that contract in line with Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency to develop that technology. And other sustainable energy are hydro energy, wind energy, ocean energy, and geothermal energy. And we cannot just generate it. We have to start thinking of how to store them. And lithium-ion battery is one of the key components that we have to start thinking of. Not just generating, but storing this power is of utmost importance. Again, we have to think of the cost of this starting material that we use to develop our catalyst, our semiconductor. We know that most of the precious metals, they are very expensive, and they give us better catalytic activity like gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, and tellurium. They are very expensive, and also we have to look at relative cost as well as their abundance. So utilizing this abundant earth metal like iron, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, titanium, we go a long way to develop an effective catalyst. So understanding the cost and the abundance of this catalytic material is a key. So other applications of solar energy is that we use it in photothermal power generation, solar energy stove, and solar heater. So this, I'm almost rounding up. So this is 3 keys: economic, environment, and equity. So if we are to practice green chemistry effectively, if we only care about environment, the economic aspect of it and human will suffer. And in like manner, if we only think of equity, we think of many people that are being rich, so many are poor, economic will suffer, and environment will suffer. And when we think of only economic aspect of it, human will suffer, environment. So understanding the interaction among these 3 is key, is important in designing a green pathway. So I included this slide in order to encourage the student, because to be honest, it's a privilege for you to participate in a conference like this, organized by American Chemical Society Laute chapter. And there are a lot of opportunities out there, scholarship opportunity, not only in green chemistry, but in an area related to material science, green technology, and what have you. So visiting the website of university across the globe, in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, just take your time, visit the site, go to though the website varies anyways. So you go, you see where research is, you see what they are doing, the people you look at. If there is any funding, you can apply, you send them your CV, send them your transcript, tell them that you are interested in this field, instead of just wasting your data, surfing the internet, scrolling through different videos on social media. Utilize that very effectively. And there are a lot of opportunity there, especially in green chemistry. So that's what I want to even encourage you to start looking at. Just go online, search university in the United States, then navigate through the process and see whether if there is any opportunity. That's just what I'm trying to encourage you here. And the future direction of green chemistry is that green chemistry is expanding, and so many university and industrial setups are showing interest and they are aligning. And the search for green chemistry, green reagent, and less toxic chemical is also on the increase. But we have a big challenge, and this big challenge ought to be overcome as we transit into sustainable future. So the take-home message is that you should ask yourself if your action or quest to meet your need compromise the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. This is the question that you should ask yourself through this conference. And at this point, I would like to acknowledge first the Avant Garde conference organizers this year. The acting vice chancellor was here with us yesterday, the head of Department of Pure and Applied Chemistry, and also Professor Ola the chairman ACS Nigeria, and most especially Professor Esther, say my mommy, for giving me the opportunity to present in this conference and to share my knowledge and experience from what I've acquired and what I'm still acquiring so far, and Mr. Shegun Samson for reaching out to me to give this talk. At this point, I will say thank you for your kind attention. If there is any question, I would like to take them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful lecture, sir. We are truly grateful. Can we give it to Mr. Timothy? Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you so much, sir. So is there anybody that is having questions? We take few questions before we go for our next lecture. If you want to ask your question, raise up your hand and come forward. Please come forward. If you have it written down, come forward so that I can read it to our lecturer. Come forward, please. Make it snappy if you have a question.
Good day, sir. The question is, are there any innovatives or technologies that can really help in real-world applications of green chemistry principles, or why trying to explore in area of your green chemistry?
Sir, do you get the question? Are you still online, sir? Is there any other question apart from this? Any other question? Okay, it seems it's no longer online, but your question will be attended to. The answer will be sent to you. So thank you for making the bold step to ask your question. Now we'll go to our next lecture. It's not really a lecture, but it is a lecture. It is the program we're supposed to have yesterday, and the facilitator was not around, but now he is around. He's also a graduate
I
of
cannot hear the
Laos and
moderator.
alumni
I
of
can't hear.
Lautech.
I don't know.
Okay, I think he's back. Yes, so I'm going to take the question again, sir. Can you hear me? Okay, as I was saying about our next facilitator is a graduate of Lautech, and he graduated from the Department of Pure and Applied Chemistry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir? Does anybody still have question? So I can ask it once and for all now.
Yeah, but I cannot hear you. I
You
don't know
cannot-
what is wrong.
You can hear me? The question, sir, can you hear me? Okay, maybe we'll just type the question and send to him. So the question will be sent, and we'll give him time to answer that. So while we wait for that, I would like to introduce Mr. Victor Animashaun. I'd like you to rise up as somebody will come to read your citation. Who's Balade, please come forward.
Recording in progress.
Please come forward, sir. Come forward. A round of applause for him. A round of applause. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the energy. All right.
Babalala Boradale, a student of Pure and Applied Chemistry 500 level. I'm here to read the citation of Mr. Victor O. Animashaun. Victor O. Animashaun is a graduate of Pure and Applied Chemistry, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. He is an alumnus of American Chemical Society Lautech Student Chapter, where he served as vice president and later as president. He is a research authorship, data scientist, writer, and a digital marketing personnel. He is an innovative young man who won the 2018 National Reasoning Contest of the Platinum Global Company through his design creative team of Next Chem Pharmaceutical in Lagos. He is serving an internship role as DataVas as a remote data scientist. Victor is an evolving young man with eye fixed on revolutions in the bioanalytical chemistry and chemical biology field to further strengthening the applicability of genomics, DNA engineering, and drug design in Africa healthcare space. I hereby join me as I welcome Mr. Victor O. Animashaun.
Please, while we welcome him, let's welcome him very honorably. While we welcome him, Mr. Timothy is back with the answer. So we'll have the answer now, sir.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you for the question. I use my phone to connect, so I don't know what is happening on my computer. So the question, I read it on the chat. The question is, are there any innovative or technologies that can really help in real world applications of green chemistry principle, or while trying to explore in the area of green chemistry? Yes, there are real, innovative technology, like I explained. One innovative technology is this photocatalytics, reduction of this CO2 or in water splitting. Although the problem that we are having at the moment is scale up, how to scale up this process. And another challenge is separating these different products that are being, generated in the process. Remember, when you release, you have your methanol in the process, you have your formic acid, you have different of these hydrocarbon in the solution. So separating them is a really big challenge. And that is where scientists are still looking into how to explore this area, as well as how to scale it at industrial level. So the real application is use of photocatalysis at the moment. So if there are other alternative ways, that is why we're here. We are discussing this problem as to how we come up with more innovative idea that can drive this process of green chemistry. And that is why we joined this conference to get more idea and to start thinking of how to come with other. But at the material time is use of photocatalysis and utilizing sunlight energy to drive this reaction. So that is one innovative way that we can use in real-time application.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you are satisfied with the answer. Sir, okay, he's not here. So before I would invite Mr. Victor, sorry, I'd like to call Mr. Biolawale to come and appreciate our speaker. A round of applause for Mr. Abiola. Thank you so much, sir.
Standing on existing protocol on behalf of the staff and members of the Department of Pure and Applied Chemistry, LAUTECH, and on behalf of the faculty advisor in person of Professor OOE Onowumi, we want to appreciate Mr. Timothy for that beautiful lecture, and we hope that when next we call on him, he's going to help us to deliver more and much more. Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful lecture.
You're welcome, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we are fully ready to receive from Mr. Victor Animashao. A round of applause for him. Thank you so much. He came all the way from Lagos to grace this event.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let's respond very well. Yeah, it's really great being around here in this morning and talking about issues that are relevant to the growth of our society and even the world at large. I believe we are young Africans, and our youthfulness suggests strength, and our youthfulness doesn't just suggest physical strength, but it also suggests intellectual strength, which must be applied to bring changes to our world. And we thank our professors here seated. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. For such an innovative idea to have this kind of conference that is more like an intersection between academic and theoretical knowledge and the application of those knowledge in the real world. And that's really what I think we really need at a time like this, going forward. So this morning, as seen on the screen, what I'll be talking about is the globe rolling into a tank, a green tank, actually, the role of scientists, And basically what we are talking about is the changes in our world, the disruptions that comes with it, and how to position yourself as a scientist or a young scientist to meet up with the challenges that comes with the changes that we see in our world. Okay, the next slide. All right. So basically, the major force of change in the world is industrialization. That is the major force of change in the world. And industrialization comes in phases. Although industrialization that comes in phases doesn't mean that when another phase of industrialization comes, the former phase also disappears. That's not the case. Industrialization phases or industrialization revolution coexist together. So in the first revolution of industrialization, basically what you have is just mechanization. That's where you have steam engine, combustion engine, water power, and all of that. That's where all of those things are common. But you know the problem that comes with them also. You have the problem of burning of carbon and the remnant of carbon emission and all of that. That's the problem that comes with that industrialization level. We have industrialization 2.0, which is basically driven by electrical energy. We have industrialization 3.0, which is basically driven by automation and some simple programming. Then you have industrialization 4.0, which is more intelligent than industrialization 3.0. It is also basically on automation, but it is more intelligent because machines can now work on their own. But the basic thing with all of this industrialization level up to industrialization 4.0 is that most of those machines cannot work without human supervision. Most of those machines cannot work without human supervision. That's the basic thing. And then the next slide. Now we now have industrialization 5.0, where machine can work without human supervision. Yeah, so machines can now work without human supervision. The basic difference between Google and ChatGPT is that when you ask Google a question, Google will bring you several suggestions. But if you ask ChatGPT a question, ChatGPT will answer you as though he's also a human being, right? He's giving you a real-time answer, a answer that is appearing to you as though the person answering it is thinking. And actually, the person answering it is thinking because ChatGPT is developed on machine learning, particularly deep learning algorithms. So he's answering you like he's thinking. So now, the kind of revolution that we have under industrialization 5.0 is one where machine acts like human being, where machine acts as though they can think. And that is because of new programming languages and new programming activities that is running all of those things. So machines act as though they are intelligent. And that is where we are. And the three basic forces of this new industrialization level is one, sustainability, number two, human-centered technology, and then number three, a resilient technology. Sustainability, which is the bedrock of our discussion in this conference, which basically tilts towards green chemistry. And that is basically what is one of the things that is most popular in the world today, sustainability, particularly environmental sustainability. Now, existing in this kind of environment, you would have heard people saying that machines will take your job. You've heard people saying all sorts of things. Machines will take your job, and then in the next 50 years, there won't be job for human beings and all of those things. Well, machine will take some jobs, and there will be creation of new jobs. If machine will take every job, then every one of us seated here are wasting our time. Do you get the point? If machine will take every jobs, there will be no need for lecturers, there will be no need for chemists, there will be no need for biochemists, there will be no need for this and that. Then everyone seated here, we are basically wasting our time. But that's not the case. Machine will not take every job. Machine will take some job that machine can take, and there will be some jobs that human beings can still do, despite all of those kind of what's it called now, all of those kind of disruptions that comes with technology. Now, the next slide. Now, positioning for that new wave. So what you should be thinking about is how to position yourself for the new wave that is really, if everything you are thinking of is just, the old way of thinking, let me do 5 years of chemistry. After that time, I'll look for job and all of those things. You may find job, but you will find job that will make life difficult for you. So, but if you want a good life for yourself, you want to get a relevant job, a job, or a skill. I don't know how to put it better, but because I know some people are not job centric, but people, whether you are looking for a job or you want to start your own startup, then you have to be thinking in a new way. And there are three things I highlighted here that position yourself for the new wave of change that is coming or that is already here, because it is here already. Just that the implementation is what we are doing presently. People are trying to like adopt those technology to better their life. The first important thing is you have to develop a new level of thinking, a new style of thinking. You cannot be thinking in the old manner of thinking or in the old ways of doing things, in the old technological systems. You have to be thinking the new technological system. So the first thing is your thinking must begin to shift. And what makes what determine the way you think is what you have inside of you. You need to start studying the new wave of technology. You need to start studying the new things that are happening around you, not just within this territory Nigeria, but even in the international world. The second thing is you have to develop new skill sets. You have to develop new skill sets. Things are changing. Years before, we used to have painters and all of those things, but people now are now changing. You don't necessarily need how would I put it now, a hand painter to make paints for you. You can use digital stops for painting, for inscription and all of those things. So things are changing little by little. You need to develop new skill sets. And talking of new skill set that you can develop, one of the major new skill set that is widely used presently is machine learning. Machine learning, data analysis, data science, deep learning, and all of that. Those ones are general. You can use them for different, I would like it now. You can use them in drug discovery. You can use them in material science. You can use them in like different areas of approach. Machine learning is one of the major driving force in the world today. Machine learning and deep learning. That's what all of these ChatGPT, BARD, and many of those AI tools that you use, that's what they run on. And then you need new approach. The problem in our world today, you can't just address them by just thinking in one direction. You need a multidisciplinary approach to mitigate many of the problems that are rising. So you can't just be thinking chemistry as a single solution to the problem of the world. Chemistry is a major source of solution, but if you are thinking chemistry alone, you will be limited in the number of solutions that you can provide. But you need to start thinking, in a multidisciplinary manner. Think chemistry, think physics, think mathematics, think statistics, and think biology. You need to think those four basic what's it called now, science courses. You need to think in that direction to really mitigate effectively. You may not be the one doing the physics work, you may not be the one doing the biology work, but you must put them in your consideration as you think of solutions to those challenges. You must think of them. You must also think of the environment. Environment is a basic. If you are bringing a solution that is not environmentally viable, the solution will be limited, because people are looking for solutions that are environmentally viable. And that's the reason why in more advanced world, there is a shift from just normal conventional drugs. They are now shifting towards omics, genomics, proteomics, and all sorts of omics to like meet up with health challenges. Now, next slide. So another important thing that we don't too much talk about in this side of the world is governance and policy. When you are in school like this, everything that you are taught is chemistry, the theoretical part, and the environmental implications and all of that. But there is also a part that has to do with law, that has to do with policy, that has to do with governance and all of that. You see, when you still remain on this earth, government and policy will determine the kind of life you can live. It is until you have changed address that other forces will be determining the kind of life you can live. Be spiritual than Baba Adeboye and all of those things. It is the policy that Tinubu makes. Once you are still in Nigeria, it is the policy that Tinubu makes that determines the kind of life you live within this territory. So governance and policy is something that you need to think about. And with the changes that are coming, governance and policy will start changing. You see, one of the problems with cryptocurrency is that cryptocurrency is a deregulated sector. Cryptocurrency is not really regulated by anybody. And that's the reason why it can fall, it can rise without any major explanation for the fall and rise. The only explanation they can give you is how much people are buying at a time and how much people are selling at that time. But with the changes that are coming, law and policy will also change. Don't be surprised in coming years when there are regulations, and that's the reason why cryptocurrency, especially for Nigerian banks, you don't use cryptocurrency directly with your Nigerian banks. And that's because we do not have a policy that regulates the use of cryptocurrency. And not just Nigerian banks, many banks around the world, you don't use, or many central banks around the world, you don't use cryptocurrency directly with your bank. And that's because there is no direct regulations for those things. So you have to send your cryptocurrency to an intermediary fintech app that will change it to any currency you want to change it to before you withdraw it in your normal conventional banks. That's what you people do. So one of the problems with cryptocurrency is the regulation. So things are changing. Litigation will also change. Law will change, and the way they are enforced will change. Now there will be laws surrounding the use of artificial intelligence in no time. There will be law and regulations for all of those things. So don't be surprised. Normally what you have now is you have charge and bail lawyers, you have corporate corporate something lawyers and all of those kind of lawyers. But with this new wave, you have technology lawyers, you have artificial intelligence lawyers, and all of those things. Those are new jobs that will be emerging from all of these changes. Those are the new jobs that will be emerging from all of these changes. So if you want to remain relevant, then you must start thinking in the direction of the movement of the world. Chemistry that you are studying, physics, mathematics, SLT, and all of those courses that you are studying is not irrelevant. But you as a person can be irrelevant based on the capabilities and the abilities that you develop or that you refuse to develop. So if you take your time and you develop the real, what's it called now, skill set, you develop the new thinking system, and you develop the new approaches for solving what problem, I'm telling you that the sky is not even a limit for what you can achieve with the new changes that are coming. All right, next slide. So now, AI should not end with chat GPT for you. There are many things that AI can do, not just can do, or that AI is doing, And one of the areas, there are many areas you can begin to think about. You can begin to think about environmental area. Okay, under multidisciplinary approaches, one of the things I really wanted to talk about is how with quantum chemistry or quantum chemistry models, how you can develop models with machine learning to deal with different problems. You can set up a virtual lab with quantum chemistry models. Like using machine learning, you can set up a virtual lab for yourself, and then you just try to do a whole lot of things and look at what the possible result will be. You can predict what a synthesis can be with machine learning and all of that. So you artificial intelligence should not just end with chat GPT. When we say artificial intelligence, what most of you just think about is chat GPT, Tome.ai, and all of those common artificial intelligence tools. But for you, it should not just end at that point. There are many things that you can achieve with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning if you have like the correct skill set and if you have the correct mode of thinking. And at this point, I would like to stop here to accommodate questions, and then so that we can answer, then we can continue with the conference.
Agree with me that that was interesting. Raise up your hand. Don't be shy. Good. And I'm very sure that we have questions at this point, because now they are saying AI, develop another skill set and all of that. So if you don't have question at this point, I'm not sure you listen very well. Okay. So who is coming first? Come. Thank you. I know. Who else? I'm only going to accommodate just 4 questions. If you are not coming out at this point, that means that's the end of it. Okay, let's have you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, my name is Abdul Malik Salam, Department of P and Applied Chemistry, on the left. Okay. I really appreciate your lecture. Really interesting, sincerely. Okay. I have lots of questions with me, but my first question is that you mentioned skill sets. What are those skill sets? You mentioned new style of thinking. Help us lay more emphasis on the skill set, the new approach, the new style of thinking. Also, my second question is that you mentioned we have to use quantum chemistry, develop the AI in which you can predict the simulation of dogs and all of that. Yes. Can you give us the way in which this can be that can be achieved? Thank you.
Get the question, sir. Will you answer that before the second person? Okay. Any other person? Thank you. Any other person? Please come forward. Okay, that will be the last person. The first person is going to be the last person. And you might not get the chance again. I might not ask again. No. Okay.
Good morning, sir. My name is Samuel Precious. You are talking about data science and material science. Like, I want to ask about data science. Can like someone like study the data science with the chemistry? Like, what like opportunities are related with the, data science and chemistry together? Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take, Jules will be the last person. This will be, thank you. So this will be all. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Adikutebulu Atife. So, okay. My question is that you said we should develop new thinking sets. So, no, as they normally say that when we reach 500 level, we are going to cross to our various like course that you want to study, like industrial chemistry, analytical. So, if you develop new thinking set, is it going to be correlate with the course you want to study, or just for normal general knowledge? So that's my question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Feromi. Now, the question I want to ask, you talking about AI, how that our AI should not stop at ChatGPT. And talking about ChatGPT, what I know about what ChatGPT does is that we can ask questions from it and then give us answers. Now, in regards to me being in chemistry now, if my AI should not stop at ChatGPT, like, can you tell us like what other AIs like in relation to chemistry, me studying chemistry, that I can access to help my knowledge based on what I'm like the field of study that I'm doing and stuff.
Thank you for making a brave choice to ask your question.
All right, thanks so much for those wonderful questions. I know when we have like mind questioning sessions like this, we should have so much of questions, and this is not an exception. So the first person asks, which kind of skill sets, which kind of new approach, and which kind of new style of thinking are we talking about? So I made efforts to mention a little of many of the skill sets that you can start like thinking towards. The world is diverse, and what is happening in the world is also very diverse. Um, you see many things you change about chemistry and chemistry applications in years to come. One of the things that will drive the change in chemistry application is digitalization. And by digitalization, one of the aspects that will change is design. Yeah, you must start thinking design. Just imagine we come here today. Are we together? Okay, I can perceive some um, distractions in the room. So now, when we come together like this, and then I want to teach you, let's say for example, I want to teach you neutralization. The general explanation is okay. There is an hydrogen ion that is reacting with a OH minus ion, that's hydroxyl ion, to give water, and also the metal ion in your base is reacting with the anion in your acid to give, what's it called now, to give a salt, right? So, but now let's just imagine that we then come here and then on the board a video is showing up. We've been seeing something like that before, and then it's showing all of those reactions are taking place. It takes your understanding from imagination to a kind of seeing. That is design. That's one of the new skill sets that you must begin to also look into for those people that feels that they are not interested in data world, data science, and all of those things. Design is an option. So the skill set you can learn is not limited. It only depends on which area are you seeing yourself in the future. So that then informs the kind of skill set that you want that you develop. Talking of new thinking, your thinking will be informed by the problem that you set up to uh, to challenge. To challenge. What determines what you'll be thinking about is which problem do I want to solve. That's what determines the kind of thinking that you start thinking. For someone who wants to work in healthcare, one of the things I wrote when I was writing like my kind of citation was my my aim for the future, which is redesigning gene engineering, DNA engineering, genomics, and all of that. So that then informs what I'm thinking about presently and what I'm doing presently. So it is what you want to solve that determines the kind of thinking that you have to that you have to inculcate or develop. And talking of new approaches, I think I was quite blunt on the approach. I was quite direct. Is that okay for someone who wants to do genomics and all of that? I can't just be thinking chemistry. I have to think biology, right? So my approach will not just be chemistry, chemistry, chemistry. My approach will be chemistry and biology. And in my thinking, in my own approach, I'm not working, I do not like just want to work basically in the lab. I want to do many things in silico, many things like by simulation. And as a result of that, I also I'm thinking machine learning, and I'm thinking modeling for all of those kind of things, machine learning and deep learning for doing all of those things. So that's the approach that my own problem that I want to solve, or the problem I'm choosing to solve, that's the approach it requires to get solved. So it is the problem that determines the skill set, the thinking, and the approach that you will take. I think the question is answered, right? Okay. Then you were asking, okay, how uh, machine learning or how AI can help in solving some of these things, like ways it can help. Yeah, they are diverse. They are diverse way. On the surface level, there are simple simulation tools. There are simple simulation tools that you can use to determine different things. One of the things I know that basic simulation tools that is being used is used to determine is more like the inhibition, or either the inhibition ability of a particular stuff to a target. either you measure that, or the attraction ability, how much they can bond together, the bonding ability and all of that, the affinity of the two substances. So there are diverse way of like approaching it. But one of the newest way that I think I've seen over time now is trying to do all of those simulation without using those tools, but yet you get more accurate results than those tools. So those are just the new things that you use machine learning for. It's not as though the models are changing. The models are not changing. The models are the same, but like we are just using different tools to get the answers that you're looking for. So there is, I would like it now, there's 1001 ways to do the same thing, just that the accuracy of the answer you will get will be different. And that's why as you develop your skill set, develop your thinking and all of that, you get more expertise in all of in approaching the problem. Then that's for Abu Malik, right? Your name is Abu Malik. Okay, I'm trying to get to those names. I know the other lady is Precious. So data science and chemistry. Yeah, there is data science is not just related to chemistry. Data science is related to a whole lot of things. Yeah, for example, when you watch YouTube, YouTube keeps record of everything you watch. So if you are someone that watches Nollywood on YouTube, naturally, the kind of recommendation you will be getting on your like recommendation for watch that you'll be getting on your YouTube is Nollywood movies. And all of these things are driven by data science. What YouTube does is that they have algorithms that saves everything that you watch or everything that you search for. And then they create a kind of algorithms that looks for related videos. So all of those related videos will be coming. The same thing with Instagram. If you are someone that follows pastors, or you follow Afars, or you follow a Nollywood star on Instagram, naturally, Instagram will suggest all of those kind of people to you to follow. It's just a function of how they have designed their algorithm. Go to your Instagram today, search for any product. Naturally, throughout the day, Instagram will be suggesting um, pages that have that kind of product that you look for. So if you go to Instagram today and you search for maybe laptops, and then they show you different pages of laptops that you check through, before the end of the day, you get more suggestion in that area. They have developed what's it called now, different algorithms that does that for you naturally. So by searching, so that's one of the areas by which data science works. But talking more specifically about, because data science is a what's it called, the white field in itself. In data science, you have data analysis said they are not part of data science. So you see many times they say it's data analysis and data science. So data analysis is just cleaning of data, visualization of data, and all of that. You have machine learning, where you have feature engineering, and you have feature engineering, you have NumPy, you have all of that also in data in machine learning. So you have machine learning, you have deep learning, and so there are different areas depending on what you want to do that you have in data science that is related to. So you can use data science to develop models for prediction of how maybe like two. That's why I said you need a knowledge of, to use some of those things. You may need the knowledge of, depending on what you want, the knowledge of quantum chemistry and all of that to achieve many things, especially all of those models, because data science is basically about statistical, like developing statistical models for prediction. Okay, someone asked about the correlation of, okay, developing new skill sets with the course the person is studying. Okay, so that goes back to Malik's question, and that is the fact that it is what you, the first day, well, you see, one of the questions I think people fail to ask themselves is that, okay, you applied for medicine, you applied for nursing, and then at the end of the day, you are given chemistry. And somehow, maybe because of pressure or anything, you said, I will stay and study this chemistry. But you just say, I will study this chemistry. Many times you don't like create plans for yourself in the chemistry you are studying. And that's the reason why many people just finish chemistry, and at the end of chemistry, they're asking themselves, what will I now do with this thing? That is the question you should have asked yourself on day one. You're asking yourself after you've graduated. So you should, everything I've said should have informed, like if you have answered that question for yourself, everything I've said should have informed like the kind of decision you are looking out into. So you should have asked yourself the question, after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, depending on how much years LAUTECH decide, because you are not the one deciding the number of years you use in the university, it's the university that decides that for you. So after they have decided that for you, after you've used those number of years, then you should be able to say, after this number of years, okay, this is something I think I want to find myself doing with this thing I'm actually doing. When I ask myself that question, the response I give myself that time is not what I'm doing now, because the world has changed and I have moved with the change. So yeah, so things may change, but your first question will be a big motivation that will lead you to the answer that you want. So the last question, that on the matter, um, shouldn't stop to ChatGPT. When I said that, I'm not just talking about what you can do with AI alone. You can study big and complex, what's it called now? Like complex and big concepts in the course you are studying with AI tools. But I'm also talking about what you can do with AI technology as a person, not necessarily using those tools, or even what you as a person can develop. One of the most common application of technology in Nigeria as of today is fintech industry. Everybody is in fintech. But like there is little use of AI tools in fintech technology presently in Nigeria. And that's why I said, like, by the time you sit down and then you think about this thing, you read about them, you begin to see many opportunities that you are not seeing presently. So there is no limitation to many things you can do with many of these things, depending on how much time you take to sit and think about it. And then you also look at your own future ambition. So one of the things that I would just like to say, I know it will be difficult, is to yeah, I don't know. We can write recommendation from this kind of conferences. Particularly, this is for the organizers of this conference. Like our educational curriculum should be shifting also to these changes, so that it can instigate many of these questions in the heart of the students by the time they are learning. So I think this kind of conferences, and with the kind of name that the American Chemical Society has, we can write to relevant bodies, relevant institutions, to begin to look at how our educational system can change to accommodate the disruptions that are going on in the world as a result of the change and evolution of technology. So I think I answered all the questions. Did I? All right.
Thank you so much, sir, for the answers, and thank you for helping me to appreciate a facilitator. I don't have to ask you to do it again. Now, we'll be going to the third plenary session. That is analytical method in green chemistry. But before we do that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor J. Obaleye, who has been present with us online. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you so much, sir. And I also want us to help me appreciate Professor Amda. He has been patient with us all this morning. Thank you so much, sir. So, Mommy, please, I would like to call on Mommy. She wants to tell us something. Professor Ohi Onoumi. Thank you so much, Mom.
Good morning once again, and thanks for your patience. I just want to read the message sent to us by Professor J. Obaleye. Is the ACS Nigerian chapter chairman. So he was supposed to be with us yesterday, but he said he tried as much as he could, but he could not log in. He was able to log in after we have left this place, and he found only himself on the Zoom. So, and this is the message he sent this morning. So I will read it to us. Greetings from ACS Nigeria International Chemical Sciences and ACS University of Ilorin Student Chapter. Congratulations to Professor Oyi Onowumi and all LOC of ACS LAUTECH Student Chapter for the success of this event. Grateful to PC and management of LAUTECH, including Pure and Applied Chemistry Department, for the wonderful support. Please watch out for the 9th ACS Nigerian Chapter Symposium and Ghana, Egypt, and Nigeria are hosting Africa Regional Green Chemistry events. That is 5th to 8th May 2024 in Lagos. Wishing you all the best. Professor J. Obaleye. That means we are going to have another green chemistry in Lagos by next year, May 5th to 8th. You are all invited and they want you to participate. So that means about 4 countries in Africa. That is Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt. Okay, 3 countries will be hosting the event and it will be done in Nigeria at Lagos. So be prepared. God bless every one of us. And let me really appreciate Mr. Victor Animasha. I told you a little bit about him yesterday. When he was in LAUTECH, he was a dedicated student and he carried all the matter of ACS on his head and is paying off now. When he was there, he was once vice president, then president before he actually graduated. And I told you that there is nobody that will go through ACS that will not have a good result. He graduated with 2-1, though he's supposed to graduate with first class, but he has many activities being carried out. So he finally left with 2-1. But that 2-1 is so close to first class. So can you give him a clap? And on this note, I'm encouraging each and every one of us that you need to be a member of ACS LAUTECH Student Chapter. So prepare your mind to be one of us, and God will bless us. And so thank you for that good lecture that you have given to us together. And to you today, I believe he has challenged you a lot. That is not only about chemistry. Think about innovative way of how you can utilize the chemistry you are studying. Now, many of you here, I thank God that he really challenged you. You still have your mind to cross to nursing, to medicine, to somewhere else. But chemistry will actually pay you off. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to analytical chemistry. That will be done by Professor Omotayo Sarafadin Amda. So I would like you to rise up as Abigail Yusuf will come to read your citation. A round of applause for my baby girl.
Okay, the citation of Professor Omotayo Sarafadin Amuda. Professor Omotayo Sarafadin Amuda is a professor of analytical and environmental chemistry with teaching and research experience spanning about 25 years. His areas of research interest are cleaner technology, environmental engineering and management, with key interest in water and wastewater treatment, industrial and hazardous waste management. Aside having published vastly at most national and international journal outlets, he has co-authored Handbook of Environmental Engineering, published by Springer, USA, Handbook of Advanced Industrial and Hazardous Waste Treatment, published by CRC Press, Taylor and Francis Group, UK, Handbook of Environmental Bioengineering, published by Humana Press International, Totowa, New Jersey, USA, Handbook of Environmental and Waste Management, published by World Scientific Publishing Co., Singapore. Handbook of Remediation of Heavy Metals in the Environment, CRC Press, Taylor and Francis Group, UK. Polysaccharides as a green and sustainable resource for water and wastewater treatment, published by Springer International Publishing. Operational Principles and Material Requirements for Coagulation, Flocculation, and Adsorption-Based Water Treatment Operations. Mechanistic Insight into the Coagulation Efficiency of Polysaccharide-Based Coagulants. Turning Polysaccharide Framework for Optimal Coagulation Efficiency. Progress and Prospects of Polysaccharide Composites as adsorbents for water and wastewater treatment. Tapping into microbial polysaccharides for water and wastewater purification. published by Springer International Publishing. He was ranked among the top 5% scientists in the world by the World Scientist and University Rankings 2023. He also received Vice Chancellor's Award for outstanding scholarly publications at LAUTECH, Nigeria in 2022 and 2023. He also received the award of Best Researcher at the first LAUTECH Research and Development Fair. He was a contractor to World Health Organization between 2017 and 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Professor Omotayo Sarafadin Amuda.
Thank you very much. The acting vice chancellor in absentia, the chairman of the general chapter, American Chemical Society, Professor J. Obaleye, the faculty advisor of ACS, Professor O.O.E. Onawumi, the chapter president, if I'm correct, that's Shegun Ojo, professors in this hall, students, and members of the media crew. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Yes, good afternoon. The lecture I am about to give today is a little bit technical, but I am comfortable because I have chemistry students as my audience. So I believe you are going to gain one or two things from the lecture. Looking at it, it's okay, good. Analytical methods in green chemistry. Analytical method in green chemistry. My outlines are stated. Now, green analytical chemistry, it is a research field that involves sustainable analytical approaches. Sustainable analytical approaches to minimize the toxicity and the amount of waste that is generated when it comes to analytical, when it comes to analysis of materials. It is a trend in analytical chemistry. I mean, green analytical chemistry, it is a trend in analytical chemistry worldwide and has diversity of innovations. If you look at it, it's applicable in nature and to the environment. It is applicable to the society and to the economy. In nature, I said GAC, I call it GAC. It's a research area that brings about eco-friendly methodologies. What I mean by eco-friendly, methodologies that are environmental friendly. Remember, if you have been in my class, I used to tell you that the fear of chemical is the beginning of wisdom. GAC is relieving us of that fear because it's about
carrying out your researches using methodologies that are environmentally friendly. This research should also support the areas with significant societal needs, especially in the environment. And of course, the results should be equitable. GAC research should also have economic impact. It should have economic impact and be more industry-oriented. Having an economic impact and industry-oriented means it should be able to solve societal problems. Analytical chemistry, is a subject that controls and justifies green chemistry. There's no way you can separate the two. It controls and justifies green chemistry. Thus, it makes an efficient tool for confirmation of the green results of chemical products or technology. What we are used to classically, chemical analysis methods involves the use of solvents, acids, reagents, energy, and at the end of the day, wastes are generated. If that is the case, look at that chart. Green analytical chemistry. When it comes to analysis of materials, of course, you should be talking about the sample. You want to work on certain sample. The sample, of course, needs some pre-treatment. What GAC is trying to address is to make sure that the sample, starting from the sampling, the sample treatment, another analysis that is going to be carried out before you have the result. GAC wants to ensure that everything is green, is environmental friendly. Now, talking about the sample, in GAC makes sure that the amount of sample you will need for any analysis will be minimal, very small. When it is small, when the raw material is small, you should expect that the product will not be too large. The waste product will not be too large, will be minimized. The reagents that will be used on the sample also, GAC ensures that the reagents are non-toxic. What is that driving at? It's driving at, even when the wastes are generated, they are not going to be hazardous wastes. Or the potential of becoming hazardous will be very low. The instruments to be used to carry out the analysis also, GAC ensures that it is energy efficient and not an elaborate instrument. The method, GAC ensures that all the processes are carried out in situ, that is in a closed circuit, not the one, if you want to digest, for example, you want to digest your sample. Normally, we use acid, maybe mineral acid, to digest in open here. All these are contributing to environmental hazards. But GAC is ensuring that this digestion can be done in situ with minimal amount of solvent or reagent. And at the end of the day, the volume of waste is reduced and is properly treated. At the end of the day, the operator, the analyst, is safe from the hazards that might have been encountered from the beginning of the analysis, right from the sampling up to the time you have the results. The principle of green chemistry is directly related to analytical chemistry. Green chemistry is directly related to analytical chemistry. And the most important aspect is the waste generation. Green chemistry prevents generation of voluminous waste. It allows design for energy efficiency. You don't use much energy, be it physical, be it mechanical. And also, it affords safer chemistry to minimize the potential of chemical accidents. Of course, when you are using reagents that are less toxic, or you are even using reagent-less method that does not require reagents at all, it is reducing the volume of waste. It is enhancing the ability to not to be exposed. It reduces the risk of the analyst to the hazardous chemicals. So in this way, analytical chemistry becomes an object of application of a principle of green chemistry. The green analytical chemistry principles, it was shown by the previous speaker. There are 12 of them. There are 12 principles of a green analytical chemistry. The first one there is the reducing or avoiding pretreatment. Reducing or avoiding pretreatment. If you want to carry out analysis on the water sample from a river, if you are familiar with it, when you collect the water from the river, you have to start with some pretreatment by addition of some acids to retain some of the components you want to analyze for before you get to the lab. GAC is ensuring that the use of that chemical is reduced or minimized or even prevented. The second one is reducing the amount and number of samples that is needed. GAC is situated to the fact that you don't need voluminous sample. Again, when the raw materials is large, you expect that the waste that will be generated will also be large. In GAC, GAC ensures that you need very small amount of sample that will generate very small amount of waste. The third one there is the use of in situ sample and in situ analysis method. I've said that instead of carrying out the analysis in the open here, GAC ensures that the analysis is carried out in situ in a closed environment where the analyst will not be exposed to the hazards, and also the hazard will not go into the environment. Yes, it's not only the analyst that can come across that can have accident when having a analysis. When some of these hazardous materials, maybe gas, they could get outside. People outside there that are not concerned with the analysis can also be affected. GAC ensures that analysis can be done in a closed circuit such that hazard will not go to the environment and it will not affect the person carrying out the analysis. The fourth one there is combining analytical processes. This will reduce the use of chemicals and reagents. The fifth one, increasing miniaturization and automations. Yes, when the samples is reduced, the chemicals or something you are using is reduced, and you are using instrumental analysis. Yes, there are some instrumental techniques that can do direct analysis. An example is infrared spectrometry, whereby you don't need to do any sampling treatment. You don't need sample preparation. You don't need sample decomposition. You don't need sample derivatization. There's direct analysis. There are some instruments that I've mentioned, IHAR spectrometry. The next one there is the energy consumption. Yes, it is less energy consumption. When you are not going through sample preparation, you are not going through sample decomposition, no derivatization. It's just direct analysis. GAC is a principle of GAC. And again, reducing the reagents and wastes. Yes, there's also another, I've mentioned that. Promoting simultaneous detection of multiple analytes. Yes. Instead of, if you have several samples, instead of carrying out the analysis sample by sample, GAC ensures that you can analyze for several samples at the same time. An example there is the multifunctional holocathode lamp that has light of various metals. Avoiding toxic chemicals and using renewable reagents, also increasing safety. All these are principles of, and some other ones are simples of, principles of green analytical chemistry. Now, methods of chemical analysis can be divided into several steps. Chemical analysis, when you want to carry out analysis, there are several steps that you have to pass through that have to be carried out before you get your product. One of them is the treatment of sample that I've mentioned earlier, sample preparation, and further separation into components. The other one is detection of the components. When you have separated the components, the process that followed is the detection of the components in a way that you will be able to quantify the component. And lastly, the process that involves identification of the substance from which the components are made of. There is a wide choice of methods for sample pre-treatment and preparation that will lead to further analysis. If you look at this chart, you see the sample preparation. From sample preparation, I said sample analysis. Analysis is about several steps. The first one there is the sampling, followed by sample preparation. That is treatment of the sample. What you can do to your sample is by milling the sample, pulverizing the sample. You can carry out filtration, centrifugation, drying, hydrolysis, and pH adjustment. All these are processes of sample treatment. You can also call it pre-treatment before you start the analysis. After pre-treatment, the next one is extraction. Extraction of the sample, of the component, or the analyte of interest. So the extraction involves analyte recovering from the sample. You want to extract the analyte of interest from the sample. Then the use of classical advanced and imaging techniques to extract your component, your analyte. All this require solvents, the use of voluminous solvents. This is followed by, after extraction, you have the cleanup. Cleanup is a means of preventing interference. That is removing contamination from your analyte. If you are analyzing for example, for a metal in a sample, soil sample, as an example, you are looking for a metal, say lead. You should note that it's not only lead that is present in the soil sample. There are some other salts present, but you are interested in a lead. Sample cleanup we allow you to remove the interferences, because all other sorts that are present are interference in your analysis. So cleanup must be done to remove the interferences. And of course, you have to concentrate your analyte, the target analyte, using some techniques. All these are steps that are involved in chemical analysis. Now, green chemistry as exploitation of analytical chemistry. We have talked about chemical analysis steps. And we have said it involves the use of chemicals, voluminous chemicals, and it is high energy efficient. But how can we bring this to green chemistry? Look at this. Green chemistry is defined as the exploitation of analytical methods, the use of analytical methods with the aim to reduce the use of chemicals that are hazardous to human health or the environment. In the process of doing that, you want to reduce, it will reduce the amount and the toxicity of waste that will be generated at the end of the day. So green chemistry also reduces the production of toxic waste in chemical analysis. In summary, green chemistry reduces the production of toxic waste in chemical analysis without hindering the analytical performance, without affecting the result you are going to get at all. You still get the same result, but there will be reduction in the use of chemicals that will lead to reduction in the generation of waste. Researches about the development of GAC and the involved strategies have been presented by authors worldwide. Researchers have attempted GAC using reagent-less procedures. Researchers, they have done a lot of research in such a way that all these sample treatment, sample extraction, and so on, the composition, the derivatization are being done without using reagents at all. An example is the one I gave you the other time, whereby sample can undergo direct analysis using a technique like infrared spectrometry, whereby you don't need to carry out any pretreatment, no decomposition, no derivatization of sample. Thus, replacement of toxic chemicals, minimization of waste generation, recycling and reuse of chemicals have been exploited through GAC researches. Ultimately, what GAC is doing is to minimize waste generation. The strategies of GAC are often safer and cost-effective. They are safe and cost-effective. How? It avoids or reduces the amount of chemicals in any chemical analysis. It involves the use of mild reactional conditions. You don't have to use concentrated acids. It also reduces the expenses involved in waste generation, even when waste are generated, because the waste will not be as hazardous as it would have been if you had used classical methods. This is what GAC is doing, strategies of GAC. So a number of innovations. What I meant by that is there are a number of techniques, analytical techniques that have brought in green chemistry, that have used green chemistry in its performance. This includes sample treatment. In the sample treatment, I told you, it involves the use of large amount of reagents, acids, and so on and so forth. So sample treatment GAC has brought in innovation in sample treatment in such a way that the amount of sample is reduced. The amount of sample needed is reduced. The amount or the type of reagent needed are not hazardous. They are not concentrated reagents. Also, after pretreatment, the detection of the analytes by molecular or atomic spectrometry is an innovation that GAC has been involved. Electroanalysis, separation techniques, as well as inherent potential of flow analysis, and chemometrics to achieve more environmentally friendly procedures. We'll see all this as we go on. We said, if you look at this one, the earlier slide, we said the innovations that GAC has presented to analytical methods. The first one is sample treatment. Now, the next one, the sample treatment is a subset of sample preparation. And of course, it is the most important step in chemical analysis. You must treat your sample. You must make the sample ready for further analysis. One of the ways of making it ready is sample preparation, sample decomposition, sample derivatization. So classical methods, that is methods without GAC, typically require relatively large quantity of chemicals that will lead to high waste generation. Sometimes sample preparation also demands high energy input. However, instrumental methods, I've mentioned that, and new chemical approaches have yielded more environmental friendly processes. Now let's look at this again. I don't know if that chart is legible enough. What GAC is doing in a sample preparation is, one, it prevents waste generation. Two, it maximizes economy, atom economy. That is the amount of what we are going to use. The amount of sample you are going to use will be very minimal. Three, it reduces hazardous chemicals synthesis. In the process, there won't be formation of hazardous products. Four, it uses safer solvents and reactive conditions. Safer solvents and reactive conditions, solvents that are less hazardous. It also involves designing safer chemical and products. It involves the use of renewable feedbacks. It avoids chemical derivatives. It makes use of catalysts. And it involves design for degradation. Of course, when you don't use much of chemical, you expect that whatever product, whatever waste that's generated is amenable to degradation. And also, analysis is done in real time when GAC is involved, especially when you are using instrumental methods, like the one of infrared I have been mentioning. You get your sample straight away, you introduce it to the instrument, and it reads for you. Unlike the classical, whereby you have to carry out pretreatment, decomposition, derivatization, that involves a lot of steps, and that will lead to generation of maximum amount of waste. And lastly, GAC minimize the potentials for accidents when too much concentrated hazardous chemicals are not involved. In sample decomposition, as a part of a sample pretreatment. Sample decomposition is required. You need it. You have to decompose your sample so that the analyte of interest will be released for further analysis. Sample decomposition is required either to eliminate organic matter or to solubilize the analyte. When you are using classical method of analysis, taking soil as an example again, you are looking for lead. In classical, you have to decompose the soil so that the analyte will be released into solution for further analysis. And also, the interfering materials will be burnt off. That's what I meant by elimination of organic matter. All those materials that interfere with your analysis of interest will be burned off in the process. Now, there have been some analytical techniques, such as X-ray spectrometry, that will not need all this sample decomposition of a thing. Another one is the atomic absorption spectrometry. We have the laser ablation inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry. And we have the laser induced breakdown spectrometry. All this will allow direct analysis of solid samples. Get a solid sample, for example, direct analysis straight away. No sample pretreatment that will involve the use of hazardous chemicals. Evolution of wet digestion of organic samples requires higher efficiency. And in the process, wastes are generated. However, these wet digestion have been replaced with microwave-assisted acid digestion. GAC reduces reagent quantity, blank values. It reduces risk of sample contamination. Yes. Imagine you get a sample that has to be retreated from preparation, decomposition, derivatization. In the process, there could have been contamination of the sample. But when it comes to GAC, that involves no use of chemicals, so to say, or that involves minimum use of chemicals, then the risk of your sample being contaminated will be very low. An example is the use of X-ray spectrometry or any other instrumental techniques that we use direct analysis. You just put the sample in the instrument and it will read for you. Unlike in the classical, whereby you have to undergo all these processes of sample preparation. Also, GAC reduces the cost of analysis, and digested sample becomes more compatible, yes, with most instrumental techniques. More compatible in the sense that they will not be exposed to contamination. Greener strategies for extraction and cleanup. In classical analysis, after preparation, decomposition, you have to extract. You have to extract your analyte. Green extraction techniques emerged in the last decades as greener and sustainable alternatives to classical sample preparation procedures. This is aimed to improve the selectivity and sensitivity of analytical methods. Simultaneously, it reduces the electro side effects of classical extraction techniques for both the analyst and the environment. Extraction can be done maybe in sample digestion. When you are digesting your sample, it may be vegetation, it may be plant sample, it may be soil sample, it may be even be water sample, using acid in the open laboratory. As you are heating, there will be evaporation. The film of the acid that is going into the atmosphere is directly affecting the analyst. It is also going to the environment, affecting somebody at the next door that does not even have business with your analysis. GAC has reduced that through the use of instrumental methods. Sample cleanup and analysis extraction are frequently needed in chemical analysis. In the process, high amount of waste are generated. Greener strategies have exploited miniaturization, that is, has minimized the use of toxic solvent or replacement of toxic solvent, and even the use of reagent-free methodologies. In this case, techniques like solid phase micro extraction, Saber substitute extraction, micro extraction by packed solvent, liquid phase micro extraction, and pipette tip based micro solid phase extraction have emerged to challenge the drawback, to face the drawback of classical methods of extraction. All these instruments can extract directly, the analysis can be done directly without the rigor of using acid or passing from one step of decomposition, extraction, cleanup in a classical analysis. So other promising green approaches involve aqueous two-phase system or extraction by emulsion breaking. Now, the powerful tool for greener chemical derivatization. We have talked about the greener methods for chemical, for sample preparation, for sample decomposition, for sample extraction and cleanup. Now, the next one is greener chemical derivatizations. Principle number 8 of green chemistry recommends eliminating derivatization. But it is still difficult because you have to derive your analyte from the sample. You have to take your analyte from the analyte of interest from the sample. But green GAC is giving us a promising attempt. The most significant exception is the direct sample analysis. That's one. The use of direct analysis using instrumental methods by infrared spectrometry, which usually involves multivariate data treatment. Chemical derivatization may be time consuming. Yes. By the time you start, before you get to derivatization, you must have passed through some steps of chemical analysis, such as the preparation, the decomposition, the extraction and cleanup. Before you get to that one, it's time consuming. And it generates toxic waste from the reagent and solvent used. Now, if you look at this, that young guy there is telling us that with GAC, derivatization will be more safer. You will have safer reactions, faster reaction. Take for example, you want to use infrared direct analysis. You get your sample, you go straight to the instrument. It reads for you right away. It prevents you from the rigor of a classical analysis. Of course, the time consuming will be very short. That's why I said the reaction is faster. The cleaner products, you generate little waste products, little or no waste products. There will be a rapid optimization, easy scale up, and high heat and mass transfer will be enjoyed when GAC is used. Still on chemical derivatization, greener chemical derivatization embraces replacement of toxic reagents, minimization of waste generated, and recycling and reuse of chemicals. Replacement of toxic chemicals can be achieved only in specific circumstances. That is when photochemical conversion is used as a tool for chemical derivatization. Molecular spectrometry is involved in derivatization to improve selectivity and sensitivity. So the main source of waste generation in atomic spectrometry is in the sample preparation. You have to prepare the sample. You want to use AAS, atomic absorption spectrometry. Atomic absorption spectrometry will only recognize your sample as a solution. But you have solid sample. That means you have to go through all this classical analysis before you get your sample in solution, before you get your analyte in solution. So the main source of waste generation in atomic spectrometry is the sample preparation, because most of the approaches require solid samples to be converted to solutions. However, greener sample decomposition that we have highlighted, spectrometric techniques usually requires low volumes of sample digests when you are using greener sample decomposition. Then the amount of reagent you are going to use will be very low. Some spectrometric techniques are also suitable for direct solid sample analysis. I've mentioned some of them the other time. The LIBS, the ATS, the AAS, the ICP-MS, and the rest. They can be involved in direct solid sample analysis. And thus, they are inherently greener approaches, but they make use of a small volume of reagents. And of course, they avoid toxic waste, generation of toxic waste. Techniques involving sample nebulization are typically characterized by low efficiency and large production of waste. However, micro-injection of sample aliquots is an alternative to circumvent the drawback that is brought about by sample nebulization. Other examples of greener approaches to separation techniques: generation of high amount of toxic waste is often attributed to separation techniques, either in sample processing or in the cleanup steps. In separation techniques, of course, I've said your sample has to undergo some treatment before you take it to the matrix that will be amenable to the instrument. I give the example of a soil sample to be analyzed using AAS. That some sample has to be converted to solution. The analyte in the soil sample has to be converted to solution through all these classical means. But through the greener sample preparation, greener sample decomposition, greener extraction, you are best positioned that few waste will be generated when you use all these instrumental analytical techniques. It also applies to gas chromatography and liquid chromatography that gives environmentally friendly results when it comes to the use of less hazardous solvents. All these are to reduce waste volumes and toxicity without hindering chromatographic resolution. In conclusion, a remarkable greenness can be achieved when green analytical chemistry principles are applied to various steps of analytical process. Advances in instrumentation, sample preparation techniques, chemometric treatment of data can drive significant improvements, not only in analytical characteristics, but also in green issues of the whole methodology from the start to the end that you have your results. Laboratories involved in trace meta-analysis can benefit from the concept of green chemistry. Since, apart from advantages inherent to the implementation of automated, simplified, accelerated, and miniaturized systems, there is also a great conservation of reagents, solvents, and energy. And there is less risk to the analyst and less production of the waste that are likely to be generated. Thank you very much.
So that was a very remarkable lecture, right? Prof deserve all the accolades. Please, let's give it up to him. Let's give it up for him. A round of applause for Prof. Yeah, our time is fast spent and we have one more lecture to go. So I'm going to give just one person the opportunity to ask a question. So who is that person? Any question? Okay, that means I can have my time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for that lecture. We are very grateful. Now we will go to the last but not the least session on our list, and that will be online lecture. Intersection of skills, values, and opportunity on a satisfying career. I promise it's going to be very interesting. So that will be anchored by Mr. Timileyin Adegboyega. Okay, I don't know, is he with us now? I want to read his citation.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Adegboyega Timileyin is a dedicated and passionate chemistry PhD student in the United States. Born with an innate curiosity for the natural sciences, he embarked on his academic journey with an unwavering commitment to uncovering new insights and solutions. Timileyin graduated with a first class in the Department of Pure and Applied Chemistry, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. And his quest for knowledge led him to pursue advanced research in the field of drug discovery. As a PhD student, Timileyin's focus revolved around the investigation of natural sources with the goal of identifying and modifying compounds that exhibit therapeutic potential. Beyond academic pursuits, he is actively engaged in scientific outreach programs, inspiring young minds to pursue career in chemistry and advocating for diversity in STEM. During his undergraduate degree, he held the prestigious role of president within the American Chemical Society student chapter. Recently, his exceptional leadership skills were recognized as he was nominated for the position of General Secretary for African graduate students at his current university. His journey is a testament to his passion, dedication, and potential to influence the future of scientific discovery. Ladies and gentlemen, with a good clapping ovation, please welcome Mr. Adegboyega Timileyin. Thank you so much, sir. We are ready to have you now.
Okay. Thank you so much for the introduction. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? And I don't know if you can see my screen. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your screen.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. It's a privilege to be giving this talk today, and we're talking about something that affects all of us, which is our career. And I'm so delighted to sharing with you today. Lautech is my roots The Department of Chemistry is my root. ACS Lautech is my roots. I'm so honored to be giving this talk, and I want to appreciate the professors, the doctors, the all lecturers that are seated in the hall today, for their inputs in our lives as students. We can give this talk because of what they have poured into us, and specifically, I want to appreciate Professor Novumi for her efforts and our guidance. Thank you so much, man, for everything. So today, like I said, we are talking about alignment between value, skills, opportunities for a gratifying career. So whether you're just starting or you're looking to make a change, choosing the right path can be daunting, but you have a lot of motivation all around you, and academic gatherings like this, with where you have informed professionals and excellent academicians. Professor Amuda just gave a very, very excellent talk about alternative approaches to green alternatives to doing chemical reactions as chemists. But like I said, gatherings like this where you have informed professionals leave you with fragments that um, can nurture and shape you, and these literally make structures of your life. So I'll just start by saying that success in chemistry and related fields requires technical expertise. It requires problem-solving skills. It requires you being able to communicate your research. So, and this should be identified, this should be cultivated with improved rather through education, training, and experience. So today we'll see how important it is to consider your values when you're making career decisions, how developing new skills can open new doors for you, and how to position yourself rightly for opportunities and how you can maximize them. Chemical science is a dynamic and exciting field with endless opportunities for growth and advancement. But however, to find the right path can be challenging if you don't have a clear understanding of what drives you, if you don't know what you are capable of as a person. I hope I am still audible because I can't hear myself again. But okay, I think I'm back. So if you don't know what drives you, if you don't know what motivates you, you don't know what keeps you on your feet, it can be challenging to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the path I want to take. This is what I see myself doing. So that's why we're here today. We're here to discuss how you can create a career that aligns with your values, and how you can utilize your skills. Of course, Victor talked a lot about developing skills and skills that you can develop in chemical sciences. Professor Amdas talked a lot about instrumentation, which is a very, very important thing for you to know. He has talked about doing alternatives to some of the instruments and some of the methods that we use in the lab. I don't know why I keep losing myself. Am I still audible? Please?
You are on. Please continue.
All right, thank you. So, so today, without any further ado, we would discuss on how you can create the alignment of your values, how you can utilize your skills, and how you can put yourself in a position where opportunities simply come to you and then you thrive. So I want you all to sit back, relax, and let's dive in. trying to move it to the next slide. I'm sorry for that. I sent a copy of my slide to Professor Naomi. I don't know if that's gonna like cause a delay. Okay, yeah, all right. So I'm sorry about that. So navigating the nexus, why are we looking at this? We want to look at how you craft a successful career. What are your values? What skills do you possess? The opportunities in chemical sciences, and finding alignment. So why are we looking at this? Basically, career success and fulfillment is an important thing, an important reason why we're looking at this. We want to understand the um, essential skills and values that are required for a successful career, and that allow you as a chemistry professional to align your aspirations and your passions in your chosen career path. So another reason we are looking at this is because of professional development, right? Um, you have to be able to identify and continually develop relevant skills, just like Victor mentioned in his talk. And this is vital for your professional growth. And this is an ever developing um, area of science. Chemistry is always ever evolving. So um, you being you developing professionally empowers you to stay competitive, to adapt to emerging trends, and seize new opportunities through your career. So, and also decision making is also a reason why we're looking at this. If you are able to successfully align your values, your skills, and opportunities, this will help you in subsequent decision making. You can always fall back on your previous experiences, on your previous achievements, and you build on those experiences, and it helps you for proper decision making in the future as a chemist. And the second to the last thing would be career adaptability. And also we're looking at this because of leadership development and contribution to the field. Okay, so I know some of you in your mind, you're feeling like, just tell us something that brings money. Like, yeah, everybody wants to make money. And for some of us, that might be our goal of coming to school. Of course, that's the end goal of coming to school. You want to be successful in life. You want to be able to like take care of yourself and your family, all right? But yeah, it might be more than that for some of us. For some of us, this might be a question of purpose, a question of I want to live life rightly. That is not the focus of the talk today, but I want to um, put to you at this point that a strong educational foundation is crucial for success in the chemical science. Like some of us we say school is scam, school not scam, and all of that. But there are certain things that you can do without um, a strong educational foundation. So I am laying, if you know me as a person, you know that what I stand for in terms of strong educational background. Um, I always tell my friends, I prefer to have a C or a B in a course and be able to apply it later in the future than have an A in a course, have a very high A, and you're not able to apply it. You can't find any relevance for that course, yet you did well in it. So degree programs in chemistry, biochemistry, chemical engineering provide students with comprehensive understanding, and also we gain hand-on experimental laboratory courses and research opportunities. So These are things that will lead you, is a means to an end. So yeah, you want to make money, but these are things that are important that you have to start looking at. I am grateful for the fact that in Lautech we do some laboratory courses. I mean, we do courses that are majorly lab courses that we go to the lab and do some experiments. It might not be on a complex level, but these are things that start you up. These are where you gain familiarity with techniques in the lab. These are where you gain familiarity with processes in the lab. This is how you need to start your life. Start getting curious about things. How does the IR spectroscopy works? You are not in 300 level yet. You've not taken the course, or you've taken the course, you were taught the principles of infrared spectroscopy, mass spectrometry. Of course, we don't have NMR in Lautech, except things have changed since I left. But start asking yourself questions when you pop into the lab. How does this thing work? What makes the principle of these things? Okay, I'm using something as simple as a separatory funnel. What is the concept behind this? I mixed two liquids and then I'm able to successfully separate two liquids from each other. How does these things come up? How does this add up? So these are questions you need to ask yourself, not just that sit there and say, oh, I need to make money. Of course, you make money. So if you quickly want to make money, then I'll recommend probably go to kickboxing. UFC is there. There's Israel Adesanya making it big in at UFC. Also, you can be someone like Cristiano Ronaldo. You can go to Saudi Arabia if you really want to make money. Yeah, and very fast actually. And yeah, that's me considering boxing. Probably I was considering a career change. Don't mind me. That's just on a very lighter note. So quickly we'll talk about what your values are. So for me, I see values as a very, very important topic to talk about. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about you certifications. I talked about lab experiences, how these add up to who you are later in life. Seek certifications also. Certifications demonstrate your expertise in specific areas. Analytical chemistry that Professor that talked about, which is very, very passionate about, is a field in chemistry that has a lot of certifications. So if you're in analytical chemistry, you're very fortunate. Not that other fields don't have means to get certified, but that's a very, very strong field where you can get a whole lot, you have a lot of things to like lay your hands on. So practical experience is valuable, certification is valuable, but practical experience, I so much hammer on it because it provides you an opportunity to apply theoretical knowledge. So not just sit at the four walls of the classrooms, take take theoretical knowledge about things, about spectroscopy, about analytical methods. But when you go into the lab, you find yourself doing internship at an analytical lab. You can ask yourself questions about what you have learned in your classrooms. So values, it is very important to consider your values because values are principles that shapes our decisions, behavior, and priorities. So when it comes to choosing a career path, like I said, it's important to consider your values. But in the chemical sciences, I would say values are such as innovation, sustainability, and safety are very highly regarded. But it is also important to reflect on your own values and how your values align with the field. This is very, very important. It can never be overemphasized. So for example, if your core values is helping other people, you may want to consider a career in healthcare, right? It is very, very simple. I like helping people. One of the reasons I chose drug discovery was that I always tell people when I have the opportunity to share my experience, I hate seeing people sick around me. Thank God, there was a time my mom was sick and it was really terrible, and I was really, really grieved. I had a tough time in school at that period, but this is one of the things that led me into saying, "Oh, I want to be able to find at least a compound with therapeutic potential that can cure that can solve a particular problem when it comes to human health." So this is my value. This was my motivation for pursuing the course that I'm studying right now. So yeah, it is very important to reflect on your values. If creativity is important to you, you want to go into designing or art. That is on a general view. But more specific to our field, if you value creativity, you value problem solving, you want to go into research and development, that may be a good fit for you. And if you are someone that values teamwork, for example, um, and you like communication, yeah, that was how I don't like communication. I used to be a very shy person, but ACS Lautech built me. I can say that confidently. The leadership roles that I assumed while I was in school was very, very instrumental in like this transition, this simulating that you're seeing right now. So if you value teamwork, you value communication, you might want to go into quality control, regulatory affairs role. That might be a better fit for you. But one of the things that I feel you have to do, talking about how you evaluate your values and seek opportunities that align with ethical principles, is you have to do a self-reflection of yourself. Take time to self-reflect on and identify your personal values, your beliefs, your principles. Consider what matters most to you, like I did for myself, what matters most to me. And this was very important in like choosing what I want to do, because there were a lot of things that were um, exciting for me as a young chemist. I love analytical chemistry, yeah, as much as I love organic chemistry. So I was considering career in quality control at a point. I was considering career in drug discovery, which I'm doing right now. I was considering career in drug discovery, but using a different approach. I don't know if Dr. Abdulhamid is there, Professor Abdulhamid, if he's on seat. I really, really want to appreciate him also for his input while I was in school. I worked in his lab a whole lot trying to garner skills on computational chemistry. I use a bit of it right now. Maybe let me say I've not started using it, but I'm going to use a bit of the knowledge I gained while I was in the lab. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity that gives to students, and he's a very open person, willing to help, and he wants to carry us all on his shoulders. I appreciate him for that. So self-reflect on yourself, assess your past experiences, clarify your professional goals. Oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah, is not bad if your goal is to make money in life. Honestly, it's not, like I said, at the back of our minds, in our heart of hearts, that is what most of us are determined to get to. We want to get to a place of comfort where you can give to your family, where you can give to people around you without looking back, without scratching your head and your pocket and all of that. But yeah, but this is very important. But you want to also clarify your other goals. What are your goals? People always say your goals have to be smart, they have to be specific, measurable, and all of those things. But yeah, clarify your goals, define your long-term professional goals and your aspirations, and consider how your value play a role in achieving these goals. And seek feedback for people. I do this a lot of time. If I give a presentation in my lab, I ask my PI, I ask my colleagues, how the presentation went. I try to seek feedback from people because this helps you develop. So talk to mentors, have mentors, talk to your colleagues, talk to friends that know well about your values. Their insights can offer like valuable perspectives into what you are doing or what you'll be doing in the future. And again, ask ethical questions. Ask questions. I'm a very curious person and I try to ask questions because you get to know by asking. You get to know. I think it was ACS conference in Huyo that um, this word was used. Curiosity opens door into the I can't remember how that word was placed, but I remember I went for ACS conference that curiosity opens door into unknown or something like that. So, and that word has stuck with me since then. If you are curious about something, you are bound, you are closer to knowing about it because if you are dogged about knowing it, you would definitely get to the point where it's just like a gap, a thin line between you, actually. So ask ethical questions during job interviews or project assessment. Ask questions, address ethical concerns. Victor talked recently about that, seeking a problem to solve, and that is how it all starts. Ask question: why is this like this? Why is this placed this way? This will lead you to develop ideas that would align with your values, if that makes sense. I'll quickly move forward because time isn't on my side. So I said here that skills are developed through training, through education and experience. I can never overemphasize this. Education is very important. Training is very important. Like I said, addressing people was a challenge for me at a point when I was really young. I can say it boldly now. When I was in my first year, I was not that much in school because I was coupling two programs. I had like a national diploma program I was running when I came into Lautech. So, but my second year, I was fully in school at that time. A bit of the first semester 200 level, I still had like things to finish in the other school. But I used to say it then. I know quite a number of us that are in the hall right now knows um, Dr. Eson. I used to say that, oh, I don't want to meet this man. I don't want to know this man. Let him just go like this and I go the other way. Why? Because he comes to class, picks on you, calls your name, and he makes you like talk to him, he talks to you, gives you advices and all of that. Not that I don't want that, but I don't want attention. I don't want to be in the limelight, something like that. I am a very shy person. I don't know how to talk to people and all of that. But one of the things that helped me was people that I met while I was in school and positions that I assumed. So this is very important. Training is very important. So you get trained by what you do consistently. You want to get better at something, do it consistently. You want to be a researcher, go for internships, get training. There were times when I used to be in Dr. Abdulhamid's lab and people would be like, okay, do you want to be a computational chemist now? Of course, like I said, I'm not doing computational chemistry, but the knowledge I gained from that lab stuck with me and is still with me right now. I can use it at any time I want to use it. And I have also gained some broader experiences in that process. So this can be very helpful. Think about what you want to do and get training that you need. So you need to develop training on problem solving abilities. I'll just quickly brief through that. I'm sorry. Critical thinking, communication skills, teamwork and collaboration, adaptability. This is very important. You have to be flexible in handling changing priorities, new challenges, there are unexpected situations that will come your way. You have to be able to maintain composure as a chemist and still maintain efficiency in that process. You'll be in the lab. Some of us, we have the goal to like get our master's degree, get PhD degree. Ask professors that are in that hall the number of presentations they gave before they got their PhD. And that's why some of the professors, when they tell you that you must put a doctor at the back of my name, they are right. They are absolutely right. It's a struggle to get a PhD. You have to do a lot of talk, go to conferences, do exams, oral exams, and all of that. But you must be very adaptable. Even in the workspace, you are a professional, you are a quality control officer. Everything you do, you must learn adaptability. It's very, very important. Attention to details. You have to pay meticulous observation um, and precision in conducting experiments. So you conduct an experiment. Dr. Amda talked about extraction of analytes like of interest. You need to pay attention to details. How much, what is the mass of the sample I put in? What is the mass I am getting? What has happened in the process? Is this solvent doing a better job than this solvent? Um, in terms of polarity matching, okay, probably my analyte or whatever substance I have in there is polar, and of course, polar solvent and polar substance will interact more efficiently. You have to be able to ask all these questions, pay attention to details, think about all these things when you run your experiments. Don't just do things because we are asked to do it, because a lot of times people just go into the lab, let me just do this course and just get my A and just get out of it. No, give yourself to it. Think about your values as you also try to develop your skills. Time management is a very, very important thing that you should put into consideration. Victor talked about data analysis. It is very, very important. You have to gain skills in using statistical tools, PowerPoints, Microsoft tools generally, softwares. You have to be able to use them to analyze experimental data and derive meaningful conclusions from them. So these are very, very important skills that you must put at the back of your mind. So I'll just quickly rush through so I don't delay us. So I'll talk right now about opportunities. So in the chemical science, there are a vast array of career opportunities. Like, I love chemistry for one thing. You cannot be useless unless you choose to be. I'm trying to be careful for my choice of words. So you can't be useless. There are opportunities out there. There are a lot of things that you can do, right? So ranging from research and development to manufacturing to quality control, like I said earlier, to regulatory affairs. And with the demand right now that we have on new materials, new methods that people and renewable energy, medicines and technologies, this field that we are in is constantly evolving. So and it's also expanding. So this provides room for growth. Actually, if you ask me, this is, I always tell chemistry students, you don't know what you have in your hands as a chemist. It is a course, it is a field that I'm very, very proud of. Chemical science is generally, you are a chemical engineer, you're in biochemistry. These are fields that you should be proud of. So according to recent statistics, in the United States, actually, there's an average salary of $76,000 annually that people make in the chemical science field. This is a lot of money, actually. So the industry boasts of a strong job outlook. And out here in the Western countries, there are opportunities for chemical scientists. Talk about funding opportunities for postgraduate studies. Talk about even the PhD opportunities, graduate study opportunities. Chemistry is at the top. And in the Western countries, they usually say that research output is very, very strong here, but it is like that in every other place. The job outlook is encouraging, the opportunities are always there, but you have to get yourself in a position where these opportunities can come to you. You don't just say, wake up and just sit down, not doing anything and expect that, oh, I want to be able to do this and that. No, it does not work that way. So the job market is constantly evolving, and this offers a wide range of career opportunities for those that are willing to explore beyond traditional paths, actually. So it is important to think outside the box. You might want to consider non-traditional career paths, but um, this is totally up to you. So I won't be talking about career paths that we have in chemical sciences because of my time. But yeah, you can, like I mentioned earlier, you can be in the industry, you can decide to do research and development, you can be an instructor, like your professor, like Professor Abdulhamid, Professor Amda, Professor Naomi. You want to be in the classroom holding marker. This is what I enjoy doing. You know that, but actually, I don't want to be a professor. Um, I'm okay with being in the industry. So, but yeah, opportunities are all around us. But I said here that what you give is what you get. So, um, if you don't give, you don't get. So you want to be like this man that is on your screen. I don't know if you can see that. It all counts. This is um, one of the ACS school outreaches that we had. And this is my friend Wale. So outreaches counts, volunteering counts, internship counts. Do all of these things. These are things that put you in position to be able to like command opportunities, like direct opportunities your way. So what you do right now will count a whole lot. It will make your CV more robust, right? You are not just doing outreaches because, yeah, it is because of your values, and that's why we are looking at the intersection. So I do outreaches as a person because of my values, because I want to give back to the society, because I love giving back to people. And that's why you see me taking tutorials when I was in school, not because I wanted to make money. No, because I want to give back to people. So this is my value. And this is another way of trying to make opportunities come my way. Because the more I do what is valuable to me, the more I create opportunities for myself. So that's why I said what you give is what you get. So these things count: going for conferences, presenting at conferences, asking questions, and networking. I'm going to talk about that later. All of these things count. So finding alignments, we want to quickly see the intersection of values, skills, and opportunities. So I have here that intersection occurs when a person's values guide the development of their skills and abilities, and they actively seek or identify opportunities that align with their values and skills. That's one of the things that I just said. You might be skilled in talking to people, seek opportunities in that direction. Go to conferences, give seminar talks. This will boost your self-confidence. This will boost this will help in your training. This will help you for subsequent um talks that you have to give. This will help you in opportunity when people want to take employees, companies, when they seek employees, they look at their CV, they look at things that they have done, they look at activities such people have engaged in. What you have done will inform your potential employee of what you are capable of doing. Okay, in this company, we want to employ you as NMR technician. So the only thing we want you to do for us is just, okay, we are a pharmaceutical company. We target small molecules, synthesis of small molecules. But when we synthesize compound, we don't know what we have in there, right? So, but because of spectroscopy techniques, we are able to like elucidate our structures and say that, oh, this is what this compound looks like, and all of those things. These are very, very important things in the field of chemistry. But some companies are out there that the only thing an employee does is that just interpret NMR
Mr.
spectra.
Timileyin.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm
Please
listening.
check your inbox, sir.
Yes, I'm listening. Inbox. Okay.
Check your inbox, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right. Okay. All right, I'll try to be as fast as I can at this point. So, yeah, values are the core of this intersection for me. If you think about value, skills, and opportunities, values will be at the core for me. And when, as an individual, you have a strong sense of your own values, you're able to align it with your work, you have a sense of purpose and meaning in whatever you do. So I will briefly talk about networking because yeah, this is very important as chemists. This is very important as scientists. It is very, very crucial aspect of science, of success in the chemical science industry. You have to be able to build a professional network. Sorry, I lost control for slides. Okay. So you have to be able to build a professional network, and this can help you in collaborations, build relationship with mentors. I always talk to people about that. You will need mentors in your life at one point or the other. Build relationship with them, let them be able to say things about you, and you are not just going to people because you need them. As a mentee, you also have to seek giving back to them. They must also feel that, oh, I'm blessed to have this person as a mentor, as a mentee rather. So look towards giving back to people, build your LinkedIn profiles. These are things that people will talk to you about in terms of networking. Create a network. Know people that you had on your LinkedIn. They're not just random people. They are people that probably jobs that you look up to. You can search website and look for jobs that your dream jobs and what is required. Put yourself in a position where you can be considered for such jobs in the future. So one of the reasons I appreciate networking is that it helps with knowledge transfer. People are able to share whatever they know to you. It helps you to expand perspectives. They will offer you fresh perspective about things, and it helps with networking opportunities as well. It opens door to new employees, new employments, collaborations, and you are able to build relationship with industrial people in the industry. I think I got my first job after I left school through networking, through meeting with people, and someone, I just got a call and was like, "Oh, are you willing to work in so place?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm waiting on going for NYC then." And I went there and started working. So networking is very, very important. Build long-term relationships, and it also helps with enhanced professional visibility. People know what you do and what you are capable of doing. It helps build your confidence. So I was going to share these pictures of how it all started in ACS Lautech. This was one of the conference that we had in that same hall that you're seated right now. And okay, so that's just on a lighter note, actually. Those are also pictures from my drive that I found while I was preparing for this conference, and this is how it's going. That's me with one of the Nobel Prize winners. Two, actually, the bottom left picture is also with a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry. That was an ACS conference that I attended last year in Washington, D.C. So I'm sharing this actually because Professor Naomi mentioned something that is very, very important. If you go through, and these are part of the things we are talking about when we talk about opportunities. If you go through ACS Lautech, see it as an opportunity to build yourself. If you go through Department of Chemistry Lautech, see it as an opportunity to build yourself towards a gratifying career. That's the end goal. You want to find comfort, but whatever you do, do it with your might. Do it with all dedication and focus. So ACS Lautech, ACS generally will offer you opportunities in far and beyond anywhere in the world. There are testimonies of people that have traveled for conferences, gone for presentations, when I was in school, I had a lot of opportunities to travel for conferences, but some of these opportunities went by because it was not just time. But yeah, when it's time for you, it's time for you. That's that's the slogan from the streets. Don't mind me. So this is me with ACS professionals and some of my research that I'm doing right here in the United States. Go through these things with all of with doggedness. It will pay off definitely. ACS Lautech, like I said, it's very, very instrumental in who I am today, and that is why I am very excited to be giving this talk. So in conclusion, we have explored the importance of values, skills, and opportunities in building a gratifying career. And by reflecting on your values, aligning it with your career goals, and developing new skills, I am stressing that, and also being able to adapt to changes, you can create a fulfilling and rewarding career for yourself. So it is very, very important to remember this. If you don't remember anything from my blabbing to you this afternoon, remember that building a gratifying career is a journey. It is not a destination. So you don't just get there. You don't just, that is all I have been saying since morning. You have to go through a process. Like I have shared my own process. I don't have time to talk a lot. If you give me 1 hour, I will continue talking to you. I can talk to you about things I went through in my life, through ACS, through chemistry, from my 100 level down to my 5th year and down to where I am today. So it is a journey, not a destination. So you must continue to reflect on your values, continue to develop new skills, continue to explore new opportunities. So if you see yourself in drug discovery, start learning about mass spec. You will need it a lot. Start learning about NMR, spectroscopic techniques, learn about how to use a lot of these structural elucidation tools. These are very, very important things that you'll be needing in this field. So develop new skills and explore new opportunities, stay engaged and motivated in your career. So I encourage all of you to take action towards building your own gratifying career today. Thank you so much for your attention throughout this presentation. I want to appreciate the LOC of the Avant Garde conference. You all are wonderful. Shegun, I see that you're doing a very, very great job. I appreciate your consistency. And yeah, I have known you. I'm so proud of you. And for all you do at this point, well done. So I hope that this has been informative and useful in helping you to understand the importance of aligning value, skills, and opportunities for a fulfilling career in chemical sciences. So I would like to open the floor to any questions or comments that you have. And I also encourage you to engage in discussion with me probably after now and fellow attendees. Ask Professor Amuda questions. I'm sorry that I'm putting him on the spot. Ask Professor Naomi questions. Ask them questions of things that you don't know and opportunities that are in the chemical sciences that you can explore. So remember that the key to success is not just having the right skills and the right knowledge. It is also being able to align your values and opportunities that are available to you. So I hope this has inspired you in the little way that I can try to, like,
Thank
with
you
the
so much,
time I
sir.
have. Thank you so much. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to hearing your
Thank you
thoughts.
so much.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you so much. That was a very inspiring session. Thank you so much. A round of applause for Mr. Similayin. There is something I picked. He said, having a satisfying career is a journey and is not a destination. That is very key. Now I'm going to just give one person a chance to ask a question. Just one person. Who is that person? Do you have question? Okay, I guess nobody has question.
I said I'm expecting nearly every one of you to ask question, or you didn't get what he has said. So simply, so simple. So, and there is no need for any question. Okay. What?
That means our speaker has done a very great job to clarify his subject matter. A round of applause for him. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Simlain. That was a very profound session. Thank you. So please, I want you to give yourself a round of applause. You have tried. Man, it's not easy. Can you please rise up and stretch a little bit? Rise up and stretch. Rise up and stretch now. Okay, so I will call. That's what I'm saying, you know. You guys should rise up and stretch your body, except if you are comfortable that way.
Hello, I want to give a command now. All stand. If you refuse to stand, I will give a command. All stand. My head, my shoulder. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, now my head, my shoulder, my all belongs to. All right, thank you. So I'll call on the chapter president to give us a recap of what we'll be doing. That's just, we only have 2 more things. Then after that, we have vote of thanks. And I know we have already gotten our food. And that will be all. Mr. Shegun Ojo, please, can I have you now? A round of applause for our chapter president. Thank you. We are waiting for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to appreciate every one of us for
our rapt attention since yesterday. I'm so much delighted for that. And I want to appreciate our speakers. They have been so wonderful because we have learned a lot since yesterday. And also I want to use this privilege to also appreciate our mother, our faculty advisor in person of Professor OOE or Naomi. Please, let's do better. Thank you, thank you. So, when we started the registration of this conference, for those of us that are on the platform, we were supposed to have late registration, but on the long run, she did not implement the late registration because we were supposed to increase the amount, and let's appreciate her for that, please. So thank you very much, ma. May the Lord continue to prosper you the more in Jesus' name. So, okay, since yesterday, how many of us have learned one thing or the other? How many of us? Okay, wow, that's so great. Now, I'm having questions for us now. Yes, I'm having questions for us. If you have been with us since yesterday, so I want to ask, how many speakers did we have so far? How many speakers? 6 speakers. Now, who can stand up and give us the names of every one of them? Anybody? Is there anybody? I could see some of us opening our program. So nobody, right? Okay. Okay, if you can't mention every one of them, at least maybe 5 or 4. Let's raise our hands up, please. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, please come forward. Can you come forward? Yes, Lois. Let's appreciate her. Please appreciate her the more now.
We had Prof. Benson yesterday. We had Prof. Asafa. We had Prof. We had Mr. Timileyin Adegboyega. We had we have Prof. Amuda, and we have Prof.
Okay, let's appreciate her. Okay, now the theme for this year, we looked at green chemistry and sustainable engineering, and we have looked at the applications, we have looked at the benefits. Now, when the first speaker was speaking yesterday, that's our keynote speaker in person of Professor Insikak Benson, he mentioned some benefits. He mentioned some benefits of green chemistry, and I hope every one of us put something down and we learned from what he gave to us. Now, how many benefits were given to us? 6 benefits. Wow, that's fantastic. That means we all paid attention. Abby, now who can give us one? Yes. Environmental performance. Let's clap for her, please. Environmental performance. Okay, who can give us one again? Yes. You said? Resource conservation. Appreciate her, please. Another one. Yes, Priscilla. Health and safety. Let's appreciate her too. Yes, Wasil. You said? Cost savings. Let's appreciate him. Correct. Any other person? No, I want our hands up. If you want to talk, please let's raise our hands up. Okay. You said? Okay, that's good. The last one, what's the last one? Innovation. That's very good. Let's appreciate ourselves. Now, I want to use this time to appreciate every one of us again for this beautiful conference. So it has been wonderful. It has been wonderful. And we are still looking forward to having more in this our citadel of learning. So this is American Chemical Society Lautech Student Chapter. And if you, as Mommy has said yesterday, please, if you are interested in joining ACS, it's a very, very much important thing for us. So please, let's try to see me or see her directly. So we definitely put us through concerning that. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
A round of applause for our president. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful recap. Yeah, there's a piece of information. If you register while you are going, you can stop by at the registration place to get your certificate. Now let's welcome Professor Owe Onaumi for the vote of thanks. Thank you so much. I'm signing off.
Oh, I really appreciate every one of you seated here. Thanks for your patience since yesterday. So thank you so much. All you from 200 level and above, from other departments, you are really appreciated. But before we go, I want to show appreciation to two of our outgoing executives. They are in 500, they have graduated. And the two of them, they are really performed wonder. Though they are supposed, they have graduated, they are not supposed to be on campus. But when I sent to them that we want to have a Avant Garde conference, they are here. Both of them, they were my project students. Though I have a lot of projects, I have about 10 project students during their sets. And I sent link to them to register to be a member of ACS. And it was around December last year, around November last year, they were giving promo. And I sent the link to every one of them, even to others, because the ACS, they reduced the payment to $5. And they even gave a code that if you put that code, and one of them just walked into me, said, Mommy, I want to register. Then he filled in, then the code I sent to him he told me that he's reading $0. That means with that code, you are not supposed to pay anything. And if you have been opportune, if all other have been opportune, they should have used that same link. And I'm praying, maybe I will still request them that maybe after August or around September, please send the opportunity again so that I will have all of you joining to be a member and you not even pay any down. So we pray, and I know that God used to answer my prayer. So nearly every one of you are going to be a member. So I really want to call Olani or Joseph. Please come forward, and Abigail Yusuf, both of them. They have joined, they are a member, and they have been actively involved since they have joined. Also, I really appreciate every other project of mine as well. Though you are not a member, but you have been a good student to me. God bless you. But because this one, they have joined as a member, I'm supposed to give them certificates of their of being a membership, and they are going to collect their certificates. Where do we stand now? Because this thing will not allow us to. So, on behalf of Lado Akitola, American Chemical Society Lautech Chapter, Olani Joseph, you are being awarded this day for your meritorious service to the branch. God bless you. And we wish you all the very best in the nearest future. God bless you. And also, I want to appreciate Abigail. Why not Abby Boy? Why Abigail? Abigail Yusuf. We really appreciate your efforts in I mean, she's our welfare secretary. She has been the one that heard everything you have been hitting since yesterday and today. So we bless God for your life. And we say in the near future, we want to see you on top. And you will always be on top. God bless you. Thank you. Yeah. So, and this now brings me that every one of us, every one of you seated here, you are a potential executive of ACS Student Lautech chapter. So join, and there'll be a time that I'm going to have meeting with every one of you to deliberate the path forward. This conference that we are doing, I could remember about 2 years ago, it was Victor Animasham, the one that spoke to you earlier.